there something that you need to do to make sure that you're being heard? So that's coming up at 3:30. We'll also check in with ABC's political analyst Steve Roberts as concern is growing over Kristi Noem's handling of FEMA. So we'll find out what's going on there in Washington in the 4 o'clock. We'll talk a little sports with KTR Sports Director Brendan Weesey. We've got more details on Air India crash. And then, of course, that leads us back here to Boeing. So what is being said there? And then in the 5 o'clock, we will talk to best-selling historian and author of Midnight on the Potomac. This is the last year of the Civil War, the Lincoln assassination, and then, as the title includes, the rebirth of America. So we will talk to Scott Ellsworth, who will be in town tomorrow night, but we get to chat with him first. And it looks like an amazing new book about the Civil War. And my first question to him is, why now? Write a book about the Civil War? Do we have new information? Is it just
Did he run across some hidden story somewhere, and how did that happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. We've got some entertainment news, and then we'll wrap this show up with some randoms. I don't know about you guys, but my weekend was fantastic because we didn't have anything planned. We
That's
just kind of
great.
went with the flow of things, and it was fantastic. Saw some friends we haven't seen in a while, and just kind of chilled. Started White Lotus, only got one episode in, so we're finally getting on that bandwagon. I know that earlier with Julie and Max, they were talking about The Pit. That's another one on the list. But what did you guys do?
I actually had a really full weekend.
Yeah?
Almost too full. Friday night, we went to the Muni.
Oh, you saw Frozen.
To see Frozen.
What'd you think?
It was great, but we left at intermission. I mean, they don't start these shows until about 8:30.
8:15.
Tired Nancy child.
Well, I wasn't 8:15. It was more like
Because of the rain.
8:25. Got a small child, wanted to get him in
And then
bed.
what did Finn decide?
Yeah, and Finn said, I want to stay.
Yeah.
I said, get in the car. By the way, walking back from the Muni to our car was stunned. Right outside after we left, a golf cart came by, and a lady said, would you like a ride back to your car? They offer golf cart services.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay for the whole show and you let out with the mass of people, chances are you're probably not going to get one. But when we were trickling out at intermission, there was one, so we took it. Jumped on the chance. So
Very good.
The Frozen show had all the hit songs that we loved in the first act, so I think we got to see quite a bit.
Perfect.
And the magical moment at the very end of the first
Did you see
act.
it?
I saw it when it came through at the Fox, and it was fantastic. So I'm sure the Muni does it even bigger and better, but I'm still kind of gobsmacked at how did they do that?
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And then Saturday, I mentioned to Max and Julie, we had a little swim party, and McGraw and Emerson
Aw.
came over.
Have Emerson and Finn met before?
They have never met.
And what's the age difference?
She is August, he is December, so
Same year, though.
5 months.
So they'd be in the same class.
Yeah, maybe. Unless, you know what? I was an August birthday, though, and my mom decided to hold me
you back. Yeah.
I thank her every
You do.
every time it comes up.
My youngest is a July kid, and we held him back, and it really worked great
I
for
just
everybody.
Yeah.
saw a story last week that said the youngest kids who are the youngest in their class often have inadequacy issues because you're smaller. You don't get to drive when everyone else is driving. You don't turn 18 when everyone gets to, you know. So I made a joke. My nephew turned 18 this past year, and I said, oh, now you can buy cigarettes. And he goes, Josh, it's 21 now. Which
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. So dumb joke, and I got put in my place. But anyway, so we invited Emerson to come over, but McGraw insisted he come too.
Well, that's probably wise. Was he wearing a Speedo? What was McGraw wearing?
He was wearing
Heidi.
yellow Speedo. No.
Okay.
Board shorts and a long sleeve swim shirt. That was what McGraw was wearing. So they came over. My sister has a pool. I don't have a pool, but I'm pool adjacent. So it was great to, invite people to other people's pools. Mm-hmm. Not have to worry about
Does she know that
cleanup.
you invite people to her pool?
I don't know if she does know that.
Okay.
Were the two kids, was there a connection?
They I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
They play well together, though.
They did play well together. And she is fearless when it comes. She's jumping off rocks. She's going down the slide. You know, somebody's going to have to watch her because she'll climb on the roof.
I'm going to say, I got a chance to babysit Emerson when she was first born, when McGraw was trying to find childcare in the beginning. And she's so lovable and smart, and she's a good kid.
And then yesterday,
we did have a full weekend.
My wife got tickets from work. We got all-inclusive to the Cardinal game.
Oh, great.
So
7 hours at the ballpark.
Yeah.
So brought Finn, and he, sat patiently through all 7 hours of the rain delay. No.
Not.
I was going to say you left the Muni, but you stayed at the 7-hour game?
Nobody could do that. In fact, I don't know if you watched the last innings.
Very
100
few.
people? 100?
Yeah. Really?
Maybe 200 people?
You say nobody, but my parents might do it if they were there and had purchased tickets. My mom is one of those people.
She is?
Even if we are up by 11 or behind by 11.
She stays?
She stays
My mom,
till
too.
the very last pitch.
And I do 95% of the time, but there can be exceptions.
Yeah.
Not my mom. No, sir.
I'm a beat the traffic kind of guy.
God.
We went to a game in the
Give me your
sixth
tickets.
in the sixth grade. St. Angelo Maurice got a bus, and we went down to the baseball game, and we left early. And somebody had a transistor radio in the bus on the way home, driving down 70. Grand slam. We missed it.
And you still leave early? If I would have missed that,
never leave early
you'd
again.
never leave early again. That's right.
So
Who hit the grand slam?
I don't remember. It was in the mid-'90s. Greg Jeffries.
You're just making that up.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah.
I was in the car behind your bus.
But I'm talking to this guy I know that works at the ballpark, and I'm asking him all morning, are they going to start this game on time? Are they going to get this in? Should I drive down now? Should I wait? And he said Major League Baseball is insisting they start on time, 1:15, and both teams are mad about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got, 3-4 innings in?
Well, here's the other thing. And as it went on, all the players want to go home.
Yeah.
They get a break. They don't. The Cardinal players don't have to be back. I think they'll probably have them back Thursday night.
Oh, it's All-Star.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll let them come back the day of, but usually the day before. But 4 days off in the middle of the season, and they're antsy to get out of there. Yeah, it's a tough one.
And I noticed ESPN didn't have a Sunday Night Baseball because they probably said, hey,
Everybody's gone.
let's get the guys out of here at 5 o'clock. And
Exactly.
Except for the Cardinals, who started the game back up again around 6. So here's a question. If there's a rain delay, and by the way, I'm texting buddies who live in Webster. They said there's not a drop, and it is a monsoon
It
downtown.
was spotty, and that's what you were saying. You were at the pool, and we didn't get in the pool at all this weekend because it was all of a sudden the rain would come down, then it would stop. Then an hour later.
Same at my house down south.
Yeah.
Well, I got sunburned because it was really sunny on Saturday afternoon, but not a drop came down out in Newtown. I mowed my lawn when we got home from the game.
Wish you would come over to my house.
Call me.
He'll charge you, though.
If there's a huge 4-hour rain delay, can you leave and come back later?
I had no idea.
Re-entry, you get your
These
your hand
days,
stamped.
I don't know.
I don't know. You probably have it on your phone. Maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll let you go outside to have a smoke
Right.
and then come back in that re-entry gate. Can you leave?
You had a 4-hour cigarette.
Yeah. Can you go over to Katie's and have a nice dinner and go to
come
Salt and
back?
Smoke and then come back?
They'll probably let you, but
I
I
would
don't know
think
what the
so.
rules are
I don't
as
either.
far as that goes. But that's an interesting one.
You had a huge, huge weekend, and my wife said, don't plan anything next
Right.
week.
Yeah.
Right.
It does. It wears you out. There's something about having a free weekend to kind of do what you want to do with
I think
it.
a full weekend makes it feel longer, though.
Oh, I don't.
I don't know. The pace sometimes.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of movies, but other than that, we chilled a little
Superman?
bit. Yesterday, I saw Superman.
And?
I didn't like it as much as Max, but I thought it was very solid. I thought
Okay.
on the my 10 scale, I'd give it a solid 7, maybe a 7+.
Okay.
So it was a solid film. I thought the middle act dragged a little. I thought the pace could have been a little better.
The dog. What did you think of the dog?
They did a great job with it.
Okay.
It was cute and fun and funny.
And I also heard that Rachel Brosnahan plays a great Lois Lane.
I was very skeptical. I thought she was good.
Okay.
I thought she was very good.
Is she the Fleabag gal?
No,
she's the comedian. What's that show?
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
Oh, the Joan Rivers show.
Kind of.
Yeah, she won several awards for that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Through the years.
Yeah, and no, she was good. I was skeptical of the Superman guy. He was good. It was solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did a throwback at the Alamo on.
In the Alamo, great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, they do those throwbacks a lot. What'd you see?
I saw Unforgiven with my oldest boy, and
That's one of your favorites.
yeah, and he loves it too. And then he's the movie guy, and so sitting around talking with him after, he and I had a great afternoon. It was
that's
really fun.
Fantastic. Somebody said no Sunday night game, of course, because of the MLB draft. We'll talk about the draft a little bit with Brendan. Let's feel sorry for the 3,000 employees behind the scenes working these games and having to stay for all those hours. They typically get there before the players and leave after the players. Isn't that the truth?
Don't they? We'll have to. Let's ask Connor. He's in the building somewhere. Don't they get overtime, or is it a flat fee?
I think they do get overtime, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe they used to.
Connor was an usher down at the stadium. That's why you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did something on Friday that I didn't get a chance to talk about. And it's one of those things that I dread doing. But once you get going, it's like, okay, this is great. I cleaned out part of the garage after Jennifer Williams was in here and kind of said, if you haven't used it, toss it.
Okay. I'm in the garage yesterday,
Yeah.
and my wife starts to poke around a little bit. Guess what I found? Old fireworks.
And Jennifer said, throw out those old fireworks. And everybody was kind of like, what? Who has old fireworks?
I literally
Most
said,
people.
who the heck's got old fireworks in their garage?
And you do.
I do.
Did you toss them?
No, they're still in there.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, he had a good spot for him.
I think I'm going to shoot them off this week.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is it legal there?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe
find out.
Maybe check. But I had to call in for some muscle. I had my 17-year-old niece come help me to kind of move an armoire that was there and carry some stuff out. But I got it so that I can put both cars in the garage and get the golf cart out without moving anything around. And I am so
that's
happy.
huge.
So my
How big is this garage?
question to you guys on the Woods Basement Systems text line 84126. What is one of those things that you just dread and put off, but then once you get going, once you get dirt on you and you feel so good about it at the end of the day?
Mine's cleaning the gutters.
Yeah.
In fact, I got a guy coming tomorrow because the back of our house is like 50 feet up in the air, and I don't get on ladders anymore.
Yeah, that's
I
smart.
just do the front gutter because I can go out one of the bedroom windows and be on the thing and just
Sweep it up.
and then because it's clogged up, and then it's really, and the water goes down, flowing freely. It's a great feeling.
That is a good feeling.
I am a fairly new homeowner. I haven't even thought once
About your gutters?
about my gutters.
Does it pour over the sides of the gutters when it rains?
I don't know.
You've
I'm
never
not out there when it's raining.
paid
I'm
attention?
inside, Bob. I'm in the house.
There maybe should be a checklist for new
Yeah, I think
homeowners
so.
of things that you need to do so that there's...
Yeah, you're probably fine, but just see if it's spilling over.
Never thought
instead
about
of going down the downspout.
Yeah. Don't they have those gutter guards?
Yeah.
Do those work?
Depends on which one. I mean, Gutter Guard is a brand. There are several different things that you can do to keep,
I read a thing about gutter guards, and I'm not disparaging the businesses. I probably would like to have them. But somebody said over a X period, like over a 10-year period, you could pay to have your gutters cleaned out for the amount it costs you to put them up. I don't know if that's true. That was just somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm wide open. I'm not taking sides on that.
We have something that's more kind of like a sponge that sits in it so that things don't clog it up, but the water...
The water goes through?
Oh, that's
flows
kind of
more-
cool. That's a neat
yeah.
idea.
Gutter
So-
sponge.
I don't know what the name of it is, and I don't know, but pretty cool.
Oh, I love this answer on the Woods Basement Systems text line 84126. Things that you dread doing, but once you get started, you're in it. Cleaning out the T-shirt drawer.
I was just thinking I need to do that. There are so many T-shirts I have not worn in 5 years. Why do I keep them?
Jen just did that over the weekend. Remember, we came back from
Yep.
vacation, and she is a T-shirt hound. And every time we go on vacation, we come back with T-shirts, and she cleaned them out, got them all organized. It was I go, wow, that's impressive.
When you can see what you have, you're more likely to wear it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Somebody said oil changes and haircuts. I hate getting them both, but I'm happy when they're done.
What did Jennifer Williams say about clothes? If you haven't worn it in a year, you're not going to wear
Toss it.
I think I might do my closet this week.
Yeah. Marsha likes to go with that theme of if you buy a new pair of jeans, you toss out a pair of jeans. And I'm like, I can't do that quite yet.
I like it on its face.
Yeah. But
it's a sound theory.
It is, but it is hard to do because when it comes to clothes, I'm usually like, where did I put that? And I'm like, why did I throw that out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need it on certain occasions.
Somebody on the text line said Josh is probably fine with the gutters in Newtown because the trees aren't tall enough.
Oh,
probably.
To drop
that's a
leaves
great point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not the case at my house where the trees are
Me neither.
Yeah.
over 100 years old.
Speaking of trees, went down to the Muni and I told my wife to take the long way around the park because I wanted to see the oh my gosh, Lindell. Mm-hmm. Half of those houses have tarps and even their front windows are blown out.
All their backyards are gone, tree-wise.
Some of the trees are so heavy they pull up the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. The stumps are still there.
You didn't go down Skinker?
No, we did not go down Skinker.
All those beautiful, gorgeous old
along
trees
the golf course.
Along the golf course are gone.
And, my question was, how come they haven't picked these up yet, these giant trunks? I guess they're busy, dealing even further north where people are actually
But actually,
displaced.
they have picked up quite a few in Forest Park.
They have. My buddy Meyer Trees and More, he's swamped. But he goes, it's great. It's really long days and long hours and lots of work. Good for them, but there's a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
Do you get a crane to pull these trunks up, or
Yes.
do you cut
It
them
depends.
where they sit?
It depends on where it's going to fall and how you. It's pretty involved, more than you would think.
I was going to say it's really an art. And the tree that was taken down beside us, which was a massive sycamore tree, and they decided to cut it because they were afraid a storm was going to take it down. We put chairs out and watched the whole thing because, they're up in harnesses at the top of the tree, and they start by cutting branches. They're swinging around with chainsaws, and it is a beautiful thing to watch, but you're amazed at how they can. And then, depending on how big the branch is, they've tied it off and somebody's to make sure that it doesn't just fall somewhere in the backyard or on a house. Then they cut it and they swing it over across to the alley. It is really a process.
I used to work at Worldwide, and I would work from home on Mondays. And the guy I was living with, his tree in his backyard was being taken down. He had this big picture window that looked out to the backyard.
Oh, no.
I put my out of office on and just stood there and watched it because, like Heidi said, they are swinging around.
Yeah.
They're lowering stuff down with pulleys, taking lops off at a time. It's wild. It's like Cirque du Soleil back there.
Yeah, and where the main trunk is going to fall is so critical. In our tornado, our north side tornado, what's that main street that had the green space in the middle? You know which one I'm talking about? All the news stations were there. Anyway, most of all those old trees had to come down, but some of them, because of where they were, they had to lay them across the street.
Yeah.
Because the only alternative was toward the houses, and it was a really involved planning and execution.
But we used to live down in New City. We lived on Forsyth and then on Northmore, and we would go to the park all the time. My wife got her master's, her MBA from WashU. When they redid that entrance there to Brookings Hall, you can see it right there at Lindell and Skinker. They pulled all those trees out because they had to redo the whole thing. And I said at the time, what a travesty. All those beautiful old trees. It was tree lined all the way up to the main building. We drove by after the show on Friday, and the trees are now, 5, 6, 7 years old? They're starting to look a lot better. It's going to look great when those trees get to be nice
When Finn
adult
goes
trees.
there.
Yeah, exactly. A
So
full
true.
ride, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you guys know what we have coming up on this Monday afternoon. Hopefully, you'll hang out with us, be a part of it. Keep the text coming in on the Woods Basement Systems text line 84126. It is 3:30. Let's get a check of traffic with Captain Paul. What are the roads looking like?
Well, Heidi, there's an accident on westbound 64 at Clayton Skinker, causing a stop and go back up to Kings Highway. North of Wentzville, there's a serious accident on northbound Highway 61 at Route W with traffic backed up to Piney. Only one lane is getting through with stop and go traffic. And westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs that will last another 2 weeks. It has traffic backed up on southbound 55 to 143. This traffic report is brought to you by K. Zander Jewelry. Give your cherished jewelry a fresh start. At K. Zander Jewelry, we breathe new life into vintage mountings with stunning gemstones. Discover the magic today at K. Zander Jewelry. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, they say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. We know in St. Louis it's absolutely both. And even though the temperatures might only be in the 80s right now, you know how doggone humid it is. Well, AAA Home Services says you don't have to live through it in your house. If your HVAC is not running efficiently or, God forbid, not at all, you've got to call AAA Home Services. They make all makes and models, even though they're your independent American standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They've been keeping St. Louis families comfortable and safe for over 55 years. That's right. Family-owned, family-run, local folks, and they are going to deal you straight. And don't forget, they also have home service plans at AAA. For as little as $269 a year, you can receive air conditioning services, fall services, and discounts on service calls and repairs. So it's easy to get on board. Call AAA Home Services 636-397-3200 or AAASTL.com online to book an appointment. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Cardinal Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen and Eddie Scholler from the world-famous Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Hey, buddy, have you came over and looked at the new Eddie at Fast Eddie's? I finally got a new item. You know, it's been decades.
Decade? More like 40 years to figure out how to put a piece of shrimp on there with your steak.
I've known you for 40 years. You could have said something. Well, who'd have thought the Elwood could even get better? But we did it. We went and we made the Eddie. It's a foot-long serving turn.
Not that I needed another reason to bring the whole gang down there. I'm still going to order those big Elwoods, the succulent peel and eat shrimp, the hot chick on a stick, and that famous Fast Eddie burger. And I'm always going to get one of those ice-cold frosty ones and listen to that live music on that patio every afternoon and evening.
Well, I just love adding another great item for everybody to come over and enjoy. When you come on over the beautiful Clark Bridge to look at the picturesque Mississippi River.
Picturesque. That's very eloquent.
Very, thank you very much.
Well, like Mr. Shannon says, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to Picturesque, Alton, Illinois, and see the very eloquent Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Hey, it's John Carney. A lot of conversations with the folks over at Allen Roofing, pretty much asking advice, because I know a lot of people got smacked by that storm, and he had some great advice for people to think about. First off, be careful of who you talk to when you're going to get some work done. Make sure there's an agreement, and the scope of work is laid out in that contract. Also, as you can imagine, a lot of contractors are busy. Give them some time. And you know what? Allen Roofing will come put a tarp on your roof at no charge, even if you don't use them when you get the roof repaired. Also, check the Better Business Bureau, see what the reviews are for contractors that you deal with. And also remember, insurance companies allow up to an entire year from the date of loss to file a claim. So you've got time to get those repairs done and that replacement done. Don't rush it. Just a few tips from the people that know roofing and repairs better than anyone. It's Allen Roofing, online at aroofing.net.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Temperature up to about 87 degrees this afternoon under mainly cloudy skies. We'll have some breaks and a little bit of sun here and there, but not a lot. And a few spot showers, but that rain chance this afternoon is only about 20%, and primarily south of the St. Louis area. But oh man, that humidity is here to stay this week, and the temperatures are going to be going up. Not so much tonight and tomorrow. Lows in the mid-70s tonight. Tomorrow's high in the upper 80s. And again, a chance for some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, but a little higher rain chance tomorrow. But it is muggy. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm KMOV meteorologist Kent Earhart for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, I don't know about you, but walking into a doctor's office can be overwhelming, especially when you're dealing with symptoms that you don't fully understand. And we all need and deserve a provider who listens, who digs a little deeper, and works with us. Jordan Kimler is a nurse practitioner at Premier U. She is back to help us all learn how to show up for our health and ask the questions that matter. This is such a great topic that I think we all need to talk about, because we have to really be advocates for ourselves, regardless of what's going on with our health.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's knowing, what types of questions to ask, which
Yes.
we're going to get into, because I think that's where people kind of get hung up. It's like, okay, I made the appointment, but you have to be prepared for that appointment, right? So investing in your own health, making sure that you go into that visit knowing what questions that you want answered.
And I think sometimes, especially as we have aging parents, you're usually like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go with you because we don't need to be two of us. But when you're younger, maybe you're a little more confident,
right?
But you probably need to do the same kind of work.
Yeah, I mean, things happen once you get in there, right? You may see a medical assistant that's going to room you. The doctor may be taking a little bit longer, the provider. But I think it's important that you also make an appointment specific to what you want to talk about, right? So not bringing up like hormone conversations, wellness, potentially at your annual, right? If they're refilling blood pressure medications, things like that. So just kind of making a separate appointment to discuss hormones, I think is very important.
Yeah,
So,
you mentioned, pardon my interruption, you mentioned parents, and I think I can speak for everyone of that age. Sometimes you've got a long checklist, but know who you're with and what it means, and be prepared. And if it is 4 or 5 things that have gone haywire, know which doctor to go to start getting these things taken care of.
Exactly.
So, when we are at the doctor's office and maybe we're feeling like we're not really being heard, is there a way to ask in a different way?
Yeah, I mean, I think going in, making that appointment specific to what you want to talk about, I think is important. When I used to work primary care, I used to love that, giving as much detail as possible what you want to get out of that appointment. That way that provider is also prepared, and when I used to work in internal medicine, even what I do now, it's like I like to be prepared for that appointment, but then also having those specific questions related to what you want answered.
Is there a way to tell if the doctor's truly listening to us?
Yeah, I mean, are they providing feedback? Are they kind of reciting back to you what the question you actually asked? I think taking time, they're not distracted, they're not on their phone. I think that's very important.
We talk a lot about hormones, and that's really tricky. I think a lot of times you think, I've put on weight, and, is it hormones or is it a certain gland? But how do we address that?
Yeah, so specifically with perimenopause, menopause, I think it's okay to ask the provider, are you comfortable managing women in perimenopause and menopause? Do you have experience in that? There's nothing wrong with asking those questions, even before you even make an appointment. You know, whoever's on the phone taking that phone call, hey, is this provider, is this the right type of, who is this who I should be seeing? Yeah, Josh.
I think a lot of times, yes, the doctor maybe doesn't ask the right questions, but we as the patients don't tell the doctors everything that they need to know.
Yeah.
And I've had many a time. I'm an open book.
Yep.
But my wife, maybe not. Maybe she doesn't share everything the doctor. Maybe she's embarrassed about something. Maybe I'm embarrassed about something. And say, hey, doc, while I'm here, can you look at this? But how often do we not tell the medical providers the information that they need to, you know, not to say you guys are like Dr. House, but they need all the information they can get. And they'll go through it and say, well, that's not necessary, but that last thing you said, that's very interesting.
Exactly. So I think the more information that you bring to that visit is super imperative. And it's all about, you know, phrasing your questions too. Telling the provider that, you know, I'm struggling with sleep. You know, I've attempted XYZ over the counter, or my mother also struggled with sleep. You know, kind of bringing in family history a little bit in there too also helps.
You know, I think we're in this world, especially when it comes to healthcare, that they're just getting patients in and patients out. But what does personalized healthcare look like?
Yeah, so it's looking at your overall goals, maybe for the next 3 to 6 months, your goals for the next year, 5 years, longevity. You know, what are your personal goals? What does it look like? What does lifestyle mean to you, right? What are you doing as far as exercise, nutrition? I think not only looking at like medications and hormone replacement therapy, but also looking at lifestyle and goals and meeting all of that together.
And when we talk about hormone replacement, we're not just talking to the women.
Correct.
I mean, this is for men and women. We all have hormones.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I was on TV a couple weeks ago, and it's like when we think of hormones affect everything, right? They're little tiny chemical messengers that allow us to breathe, to sleep. So when I talk about hormones, I don't just mean estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. I mean cortisol, insulin, you know, epinephrine, things like that. Those are really, really important hormones in our bodies. When we talk about hormone replacement therapy or hormones in general, it's not just those classic sex hormones.
That is a great reminder for all of us. You know, you kind of mentioned what personalized care looks like and the hormones, and not everybody is going to be treated the same way. So if you are talking to your doctor and you don't feel like they're the right one, how do you find the right one?
I mean, as awful as it sounds, keep trying. Like, we're out there. There are other providers. And, you know, I'm not the provider for everyone, but we have multiple providers in our facility that maybe they might relate a little bit more to, right? And I think that it's important that you not only have a provider that's listening, but then also just meet you where you're at to provide those goals.
I've been very lucky. I always jokingly talk about my medical team, but you got to find people. You use the word relate. You got to find somebody that you connect with. Otherwise, you'll always wonder, are we communicating with each other? So keep working until you find that doctor that can relate to you, understand you, and you can have that relationship.
And you know what? I feel like I have done that over the years with therapists. But when it comes to a medical doctor, I just went and assumed that they knew more than I did and kept going. So we really should maybe look at it more like a therapist.
Yeah, what do they specialize in, right? What's their passion? I think that's really important. Reading their biography, whatever they have written up, or even making an initial consult with them and say, hey, what are you passionate about treating?
So almost interviewing the doctor, not just assuming they have the job.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so many tips. And we're talking to Jordan Kimmler with Premier U. She's a nurse practitioner. She treats, she initially treated me, and I would like to say that I'm still 20 pounds down. I was just in the office the other day and see so many happy people. But, you know, you talk a lot about advocating for ourselves. What's one thing that you would say? What's one tip that you can give us that really will help us empower ourselves?
I think knowledge is power is kind of what I would say. So investing yourself into reading articles, following certain people that you've heard about through your friends. That way you have some sort of baseline understanding going into an appointment.
Yeah, that is so smart. I want to go a little bit further on the hormones piece. I don't even, other than estrogen and progesterone, how many hormones do we have in our body?
A lot. We could do a whole hour consult on that. A lot. I mean, thyroid, right?
Yeah.
So many men struggle, but women struggle with thyroid conditions. And I feel like those reference ranges are extremely outdated. A lot of, patients in my practice struggle with a TSH above 2.5, right? Which is just one thyroid test. Where I like to do more inclusive thyroid testing like free T3, free T4 antibodies, because Hashimoto's is the #1 autoimmune disease in the U.S. right now for both men and women. We're seeing record autoimmune disease in general, right? Because
Why is that?
Our environment, the food we eat, we all work high stress jobs, we live on caffeine. I mean, we don't prioritize
so many factors.
sleep. Yeah, there's so many factors. No one can say one reason why we're seeing that. But it's also kind of, because I've had a lot of patients, maybe they're even managed with their thyroid through their endocrinologist or through their primary care, and they're told that their labs are normal, but they still don't feel well, right? Maybe they did at one point, but something shift with them. And sometimes just a little bit of change in their thyroid medication or lifestyle will really make a huge difference in thyroid patients.
Well, I sing your praises all the time, and I say that, we started with this full panel of blood work, but I really don't know what blood work we did. I mean, I looked at it and there were a lot. What do you start with?
Yeah, so I do a comprehensive metabolic panel, kind of looks at kidney function, looks like electrolytes, your liver, looks at complete blood count, just making sure there's no anemias, infections, anything like that. That thorough thyroid panel, which I just discussed, that's with every patient that I see. But also, depending on male, female, specific hormones for that, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, looking at vitamin levels like B12, vitamin D, right? Those are kind of easy, cheap fixes if we know that it's a problem. I find a lot of patients are taking they're taking a multivitamin, right? But it's just not enough of the right type of vitamins that they need. A lot of multivitamins are junk, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, you really won't see one in my practice, honestly.
But there are lots of other supplements, and I was just saying, I take a protein powder just as a snack. It's fantastic. There's other things, creatine and amino acids, and I was just reading an article about creatine. Tell people what that is, and I think a lot of people thought that was just for bodybuilders for so long.
Yeah. So a lot of the recent studies come out for cognitive improvement, even up to 10 grams if you can tolerate it, which most people can after they kind of do that initial loading phase of 2.5 grams, and then 5 is kind of average, but we have every patient in our practice on it.
Is there a negative side to creatine?
Fluid retention.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated, right?
Yeah, women do struggle with that sometimes. That's why I will start them at a lot lower dose. And sometimes I can't even get them to 5, but sometimes I can get them up to like 3 or something like that. So, but that is the most widely researched.
And the benefits of it of the creatine is what?
Muscle recovery, which you already kind of know all this, like building muscle.
But and for women in perimenopause and menopause, we're losing so much muscle.
Correct.
It's to help kind of maintain.
Yeah, and I said the reason women a lot of times are opposed to it is because they have a little bit of, water weight gain. But I think also educating the patient that what type of weight have you gained? Is it water? Is it muscle? Is it fat? That's where, with the in-body scan,
you can see it all. Somebody says I have an appointment with my nurse practitioner. Should I talk to her the same way I talk to my doctor?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because basically they're one and the same, and maybe the nurse practitioner can even spend a little more time with you.
Yeah, most of the time, schedules are a little bit lighter especially in primary care world. The nurse practitioner tends to have a little bit of a lighter schedule. Not always, but we also tend to be more like lifestyle driven, root cause driven. That's usually why we became a nurse first a lot of times.
And somebody else wants to know, is men's or women's 1-a-day vitamin, is that pointless?
Here's what I say. I'd rather you get it in nutrition, to be honest. If you feel like there are nutritional gaps, I think that there is a time and a place for a multivitamin. But in my practice, I really talk about specific things that you need versus taking
You mean I need all 20 ingredients?
Right. Yeah. And usually it's just not enough vitamin D. It's not enough B12, right?
So you might be better off just to take the B12 and just take the vitamin D.
And then have a well-balanced diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan, it is always fantastic chatting with you and learning a little something new. Of course, you can set up an appointment with Jordan and the team at Premier U. It's premierumed.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment. A moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen. A moment to find your dream, or build one. A moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Don't look now, but it's going to be warm out here pretty soon, and you're going to want to open up your window. The only problem is your window hasn't painted shut for a while now. That's why you need to call my neighbor, Larry, or his son, Joe. They run a company called The Window Store, and they've been in business now 35, 36 years. And what's great about The Window Store is that they are a St. Louis company. You often see these commercials where buy 4 windows and get the next 7 free. Well, guess what? When you compare apples to apples, the Window Store doesn't do any of that marketing stuff. It's very simple. You buy 1 window, you pay for 1 window. And when you compare apples to apples, the Window Store prices are significantly better. Every window is energy efficient. Every door is as good as can be. And all you get is great customer service and a great company. St. Louis owned, St. Louis operated, The Window Store. WSWindow.net, 739-0002 or WSWindow.net. Call today. Tell them I sent you.
Every day another adventure. Our greatest discoveries come when we stop searching. Beneath the endless sky, away from the stress of work, the answer to the ancient Zen mystery, the sound of one hand clapping. Take a trip in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
You're listening to The Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Meep, meep.
8 minutes before 4 o'clock. Captain Paul, what are you seeing on the roads?
Heidi, I do see an accident on westbound 64 at Clayton Skinker. It's blocking the right lane with traffic jammed back to Kings Highway. Estimated clearance time is just a few minutes from now at 4 o'clock. Southbound 270 is crowded around Olive, and westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs that will last another 2 weeks. It has traffic backed up on southbound 55 to 143. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your tickets today for the next Stages production, Austin's Pride, a new musical of Pride and Prejudice starting July 25th. Individual tickets on sale now, and more information is available at stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Concerns are growing over Christine Noem's handling of FEMA. Steve Roberts, ABC News political analyst in Washington, joins us with the latest. I mean, obviously, the flooding in Texas is kind of the highlight of how the Trump administration and the war on bureaucracy is kind of feeling the effects.
Well, that's right, Heidi. Look, as recently as a week ago, Kristi Noem was saying FEMA, the Federal Emergency Agency, should be abolished. And Donald Trump has been attacking this agency since the day he came into office. And look, no one who's ever dealt with the federal government would dispute the fact that there's bloat and there's waste and there's inefficiency. And that's basically a good idea. It's always better to save money, save taxpayer money. The problem here And certainly there's no problem with the heroism and courage of individual first responders on the ground either. The problem here is that when you attack an agency like this with a sledgehammer, you cause a lot of problems. Very good example. So Kristi Noem said that every contract over $500,000 got to come through her desk personally. Well, this was all designed to save money, but the fact is that she delayed renewing contracts for call centers. And so, as the New York Times demonstrated, 2/3 of the calls that came in to one call center from distressed residents in Texas seeking help from the federal government, those calls were not returned because the contracts had not been renewed. Yeah. If you look at the National Weather Service, 600 of the 4,000 jobs are vacant. People were fired. People were induced to take buyouts, and these included the most experienced folks who had the experience, the contacts to respond quickly. So thrift is always a good idea, but if you do it badly, you can cripple vital services, and that's clearly what happened here.
Hey, Steve, as you know, in Trump's first administration and the one he's got going now, he normally consolidates, and I don't know how many agencies Marco Rubio's in charge of. I don't remember how many things that Jared Kushner was in charge of. But is Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, are they generally the people in charge of FEMA, or is that another consolidation?
Well, this is an ongoing argument. Should FEMA be a separate agency? Should be part of Homeland Security? Right now, it is part of Homeland Security. And, in the attempt to become more efficient, what they did was add an extra layer of bureaucracy. And it was that extra layer of bureaucracy that proved to be a bottleneck because she wanted to approve everything personally. But there's a larger principle here. And this is an example of a larger problem. Donald Trump has said that the disaster relief is one of the functions that would be better be sent to the states and should be on a local basis. Well, that's true of a lot of services. That's absolutely true. You get an example like education, always better delivered locally than by the federal government. But something like disaster relief, no state, whether it's Missouri or Kansas or any state, has the ability, or Illinois for that matter, has the ability to respond on its own because only the federal government has the taxing power, has the resources to be able to respond to a disaster like this. States have balanced budget amendments. They can't borrow money to finance an unexpected crisis like this. Only the federal government can do that. So in his determination to reduce the deep state, the swamp, to attack Washington, critics are pointing out that he's crippling a vital government agency, and this is not the only example of it.
And FEMA, how many people have relied on FEMA in, say, the last year alone?
Well, that's another variable, and I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of experts on climate change point to the last three disasters, not just this one, but you had the terrible flooding in North Carolina earlier this year, and of course the horrendous wildfires in California. There's a feeling that climate change is aggravating. Look, we've always had natural disasters in this country. There's nothing new about that. But if climate change is aggravating the impact of floods and wildfires and hurricanes, the need is greater for a more robust federal response mechanism. And if you start cutting these agencies, if you start firing people, and let's remember who you lose when you fire people. You tend to lose the experienced people who have been through this before, who know how to respond, who have connections and contacts. When you're talking about disaster relief, one of the most important elements is folks who know who to call, know how to respond, have been through it before. And if you lay those people off, you've only increased the problem of the ability of the government to respond quickly.
Steve, this disaster, this tragedy, it's less than 2 weeks old. Are we pointing fingers too soon?
No. because you have to learn from this. Look, we're entering hurricane season, right? There are going to be other disasters. And when you say pointing fingers, that's a fair way to put it. But, the real point is to learn from this. The real point is to say, look, if Donald Trump is going to carry out these kinds of cuts, not just in this agency, but all through the government, there are many, many other examples of where the Trump administration has already learned that certain kinds of cuts could have disastrous consequences. Look at the whole debate that took place just a week or two ago in Washington over cutting Medicaid, and the Trump administration insisting that, well, you got to reduce the budget deficit, you've got to cut Medicaid. Well, all over the country there were rural hospitals saying, wait, you cut Medicaid, we're going to have to close our doors.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think through the implications of what you're doing. You can't just say, we're going to cut for the sake of cutting. You have to do it so much more carefully because, look, even if there's bloat and even if there's waste and even if there's inefficiency, which there clearly is, there's also vital services that are at stake here, and you can't just take a sledgehammer to these programs.
Steve Roberts, ABC News political analyst in Washington, thank you so much.
Systems, but it would also include missiles and ammunition.
ABC's Patrick Reevell. Supreme Court justices lifted an injunction allowing President Trump to move ahead to dismantle the education department, including layoffs of nearly 1,400 workers. It comes as more than 20 states have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for withholding more than $6 billion in federal education funds for after-school and summer programs. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson says families across his state will be impacted.
The effect is going to be massive and it's going to be immediate. We estimate it's roughly $165 million to the state. It's going to result in roughly 1,000 educators being laid off.
Kentucky police identified the gunman in yesterday's shooting at a Baptist church in Lexington as Guy House. 2 people were killed and 2 others injured before the shooter was killed by officers. Authorities say House earlier shot at a state trooper during a traffic stop. ABC's Aaron Katursky is in Lexington.
According to police, we're told the suspect had a history of mental health problems, had anger issues and drug use, and he had access to a gun that he used to shoot 4 people here at this church.
In New York, a chunk of Mars that fell to Earth goes up for auction this week. Sotheby's says it could fetch as much as $4 million. The Mars rock weighs 54 pounds. You're listening to ABC News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. A man is dead after a shooting in Belleville. Police say the 50-year-old victim was gunned down outside of a home along the 500 block of North 40th Street early yesterday morning. One person was taken into custody at the scene. Police have not said what led up to the shooting. A man is accused of making an online terrorist threat against the Lincoln County Fair over its new clear bag policy. Ryan Hartline is charged with first-degree terrorist threat and second-degree harassment for allegedly posting a threat on Facebook which read, "I'm going to bring whatever I want. Got a problem? Take it up with my sidearm." Hartline is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow. Thousands of travelers face long lines flying out of Lambert Airport's Terminal 2 Sunday morning. Security needed to shut the entrances for a time to manage crowd control. Lines of Southwest passengers lined the street waiting to get in. There were reports of some waiting in line for up to 3 hours to check their bags and get through security, causing them to miss their flights. Airport officials said the lines included many who attended the Seventh-day Adventist Conference in St. Louis with 50,000 attendees that ended on Sunday. Missouri Task Force 1 was forced to temporarily suspend search operations in Texas. The Boone County Fire Protection District says severe weather forced the team to temporarily pause their operations along the Guadalupe River in Kerr County yesterday. Task Force 1 will be paired with a rescue task force from the Czech Republic to continue operations along the river starting today. Patients were evacuated from a hospital in Washington County on Sunday after part of the building filled with smoke. Officials say a mechanical failure caused smoke to fill the laboratory of Washington County Memorial Hospital in Potosi. There was a small earthquake in southern Missouri over the weekend. The U.S. Geological Survey reports a magnitude 2 earthquake was recorded early Saturday morning about 3 miles east of Risco in New Madrid County. The deadline is approaching for public feedback ahead of Missouri sports betting regulations are finalized. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
The deadline to submit public comments to the Missouri Sports Commission is this Wednesday. Then on Thursday, the commission will hold a public hearing in Jefferson City to focus on how operators will be licensed. Missouri is set to launch legal sports betting by December 1st. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minutes is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Wall Street at the close today. Dow Jones up 88 points to close at 44,459. S&P 500 up 8 to 6,268. The Nasdaq up 54 points to close at 20,640. Now let's get a check of sports and traffic from Captain Paul Kopsky.
Okay, thanks, Sobe. Yesterday, the Cardinals weathered more than 4 hours of rain delays to beat the Braves 5-4 at Busch. It sends the Birds into the All-Star break with 51 wins, 5 games above the 500 mark. Meanwhile, the Cardinals selected Tennessee Volunteers pitcher Liam Doyle with the 5th overall pick in the MLB draft. Doyle is a lefty that can regularly touch 100 miles per hour on the radar gun. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. An accident on westbound 64 at Clayton Skinker is still blocking the right lane with traffic jammed back to Kings Highway. Southbound 270 is crowded from Olive to Ladue Road. Southbound 55 heavy from Gasconade to South Broadway. And westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs that will last another 2 weeks. It has traffic backed up on southbound 55 to 143. This traffic report is brought to you by Sound Health Services. When you need a top doctor for your ear, nose, and throat care, the ENT providers at Sound Health Services can help at one of our 7 area locations. Call 314-722-4204. That's 314-722-4204, or go to soundhealthservices.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather today, partly cloudy and muggy. High of 87. Tonight, cloudy with an overnight low of 72. Tomorrow, chance of rain, high of 85. Right now, under partly cloudy skies, we have 86 degrees at 4:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Before you put your home on the market, before you have to pay money fixing it up to sell it, before you have to pay real estate commissions, call me. I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I will buy your home. Any property, any condition, anywhere, and always as is. Call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. You have nothing to lose when you call Robank Properties at 314-283-0867.
Do you love pickleball? Experience Major League Pickleball right here in St. Louis, July 17th through the 20th at Chavis Arena. Feel the energy as the world's best teams battle it out for first place. Every serve, rally, and point. It's electric. It's more than a match. Enjoy great food, fun activities, and an exciting family-friendly atmosphere. Meet the stars, get autographs, and see all the action up close. Tickets are limited, so get them now at MLPSTL.com. That's MLPSTL.com. Major League Pickleball. There's nothing else like it.
A big KTRS shout out to Lacey Lumber, family owned and family operated since 1872. Lacey Lumber has built the St. Louis metropolitan area. They've worked with builders and contractors and homeowners. They provide building materials from soup to nuts. 2 hardware stores in Belleville ready to serve you. Millwork, insulating material, wallboard, roofing materials, you name it, Lacey Lumber can help because Lacey Lumber is just that much better. LaceyLumber.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Monday afternoon, July 14th, Las Vegas Casino deals out new Uno experience. That popular family card game is bringing a new playing experience to Las Vegas Casino this summer. Mattel Inc. is betting on Vegas by debuting the first ever Uno Social Club at the Palms. The immersive, over-the-top experience is designed to bring the iconic card game into a real-world setting. That's according to a news release. The launch of Uno Social Club marks the start of a nationwide campaign to turn casual game nights into full-blown entertainment events. We created Uno Social Clubs to reimagine what game night can be, bringing people together for real-world fun, connection, a bit of friendly competition. That's according to Ray Adler, the VP and global head of games at Mattel. The Uno Social Club in Las Vegas is just the beginning, and we're excited to see how these new experiences inspire players to show up, play hard, and make unforgettable memories. Inside the Palm Suite, guests will find a variety of Uno branded table games, including Uno Golf, Uno Teams, and the fast-paced Uno Show 'em No Mercy. Would you play, Josh?
No, because I don't think I know how to play Uno.
Did you as a kid?
Don't you play against somebody?
Yeah.
Are you playing against the dealer?
Well, I'm assuming that they have it set up that way.
Bob, do you know how to play Uno?
Never played it.
Never?
No.
Right? Like if I lay down a red 5, you can lay down a red card
or a 5.
Or a 5 of any
Yes.
color. And then you can skip, you can bounce back.
Sounds like you do know how to play.
Yeah, you got a wild card that can go on anything.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'd play it.
Okay.
Can I win money? Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. I think it sounds fun. And we'll see what's next.
I have 2 livestock stories.
Oh, livestock.
Yeah. This should be on the farm report. Oklahoma farm. And by the way, a quick disclaimer. This is not to blame the victim here.
Okay.
I want to be clear about that. But it's such an odd story. I wanted to bring it to you.
I'm interested.
Oklahoma farmer killed by water buffalo he bought at an auction the day prior.
Ooh.
2 aggressive water buffaloes. Is there any other kind?
Right.
That's my first question. Fatally attacked an Oklahoma man before confronting and delaying police and firefighters who were trying to save him. Brad McMichael died on Friday from injuries sustained from the large animals that he had purchased at an auction. He had sustained deep lacerations, apparently from being gored. His fiance said, "We don't know how he got in that situation. He was experienced. 3rd-generation farmer on that land. He raised cattle, sheep, goats. Why did he want water buffalo? That's the odd thing to me. And then what was happening? That he got gored by the water buffalo he just
I think
bought.
that's a reminder, though, of just how dangerous that kind of work can be. I mean, I know from my college roommate, because her family had cattle and hogs. There was more than one night where the phone rang at midnight and the cow had gotten out and she needed to go help. And, they can pin you up against a fence.
Yeah.
They can do so many
huge animals,
different things, and strong.
Speaking of huge animals, how about a C-section for a 74-pound baby?
Oh. What kind of baby?
Chinese scientists deliver the world's first cloned yak via cesarean.
Yak. Yakety yak. Don't talk back.
I just think that is so weird. China's first clone yak. They're in a western part of China near Tibet. And they have yaks, and they cloned one, and now they have one since.
So we clone sheep. Remember Dolly?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they do yaks.
And they do yaks over there.
Interesting.
Okay. So didn't we have a story about buffalo that got loose recently here in St. Louis and injured a couple people?
Buffalo?
And like somebody owned them on a private.
Oh, yeah.
That was
what
last
that
week.
deal?
Was that here?
Yeah. And I was wondering who privately owns Buffalo.
A buddy of mine from college.
Oh.
He'd been a police officer, retired, and way down southern Missouri, he has buffalo on his farm.
Could you call him? See if he's okay.
I can try and find out.
Hey,
Yeah.
where are the buffalo right now?
You're saying where do the buffalo roam?
Yeah.
That's
Grant's
what you're
Farm?
I think someone had privately owned buffalo last week, and they got out and hurt a couple people. If I remember the story correctly. This story, though, is correct because I'm reading it right now. USPS stamps will increase.
Again?
Well, not will, did yesterday. Took into effect July 13th. That was yesterday. They jumped up again from 73 cents to 78 cents for a forever stamp. The post office says that they continue to take a rational and realistic approach to pricing that includes prudent implementation of new and existing pricing authorities. Letter prices are still significantly lower than other comparable foreign posts, is what they said.
Jerry, you don't really need the mail.
Exactly.
You do need the mail.
No. Email. FedEx.
You're
You
going
don't
to tell
need the
me
mail.
Hang on. I'm going to tell you something right now. We've got a bank. I've told you this before. It's a little bank in South County, and they do crazy interest rates on auto loans. And we did our loan through them, refinanced, and they do not have an online presence. So we mail a check to them once a month.
How about that?
Well, I was just thinking because we stuck a card in the mail today. Somebody who lost a loved one. I mean, there are certain reasons that you need or should be using the mail. I'm not saying that it is as busy as it used to be, and maybe there are ways that.
Could you email those sentiments with some little cartoon?
No, I think that's
things
not
and-
very friendly.
Wait.
I think that's cold.
I guess I'm the stamp guy because last time the stamp prices went up, I used it as one of my headlines. Is anybody buying not forever stamps?
I don't think so. And that's what somebody said. If you buy the forever stamps in bulk, they're good forever. You get no price increase. And that's what we always buy.
We have a roll of them.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't know why you're buying non-forever stamps, but, are the Elvis stamps forever stamps? Are when they come out and Fred Flintstone stamps and...
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody
Billie
said
Holiday
that they
stamps.
remember paying 5 cents for stamps. I do feel like it has really jumped in the last 5 years. Like, I remember it kind of turning to 50 cents and then 55 cents. It's like all of a sudden now
I think my first recollection of buying a stamp, which would have been maybe in college, why else would I know? 38 cents? I'm sure there's a graph somewhere that
it says
that
what it
plots
was.
all the
See,
increases.
I was thinking more 25 cents in the last 25 years, but
And
I could
think
be wrong.
way less than that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, so let's see at what point did we really jump up?
And my buddy sold his buffalo.
Really?
I just found out.
Somebody
He
said
got back
buffalo
to you?
were in St. Albans. Somebody else said it was a bison
Oh, the bison.
in St. Albans. Then somebody else said that Grant's Farm, I think a couple weeks ago, there was some kind of
an incident?
buffalo
The one I
incident.
was thinking of was the St. Albans.
I got it. Okay.
Bison.
Well, if you go to Springfield, Illinois, you might want to send a postcard back because there are
78 cents.
so many great things.
Wait a minute. Domestic postcards are going to be 62 cents.
62 cents.
So
see?
cheaper than a
Absolutely.
letter.
And there are a lot of things that you're going to want to brag about when you go to Springfield, Illinois. So many things to see. I personally love the Frank Lloyd Wright house, the Dana Thomas house. I just love seeing what he created, and it's so different from anything that you've ever seen. But if you like Route 66, you gotta go to the mural and the Wayside Exhibit Trail. That's so much fun. It's a must stop at the Lincoln Presidential Museum, and you could spend the entire weekend there if you wanted to. You can also walk through history and Lincoln's legacy because there's so many immersive exhibits and rare artifacts and just the stories that you get to hear about the 16th president's life that maybe you haven't heard before. And then you can go to Lincoln's home National Historic Site. It is the only home that Lincoln ever owned, and it is preserved to feel exactly as it did when he lived there, which is really interesting is as well. Of course, you've got the old state capitol. I could go on and on about Springfield, Illinois. I really think it is a fantastic place, and it is just a hop, skip, and a jump. So check out Springfield, Illinois. You can actually plan your trip out online at visitspringfieldillinois.com.
All right, we're going to go to Alex Stone here in just a second after the commercial. But January 7th, 2001, 34 cents.
Is that when you graduated college?
No, that's when I graduated high school. But I'm just saying, at the turn of this last century, 34 cents.
Right.
January of 2020, 55 cents.
That's what I remember it turning to 55 cents.
So over the last 5 years, it's gone from 55 to 78.
Yeah. When was it 25 cents?
1988.
Okay.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the hill. Whether you live on the hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer. This note came in on our text line recently on the Frank and Jill show. You need to know that Ryan Raphael helped me with my senior insurance plan. He was such a gentleman, so helpful, knowledgeable, and kind. I can't thank him enough, and I heard about him on KTRS. I love that text because Ryan Raphael is the Medicare man. He's absolutely the best person to call to help you through the often confusing process of finding the right Medicare plan for you. He loves helping people, walking them through the overwhelm of, I don't know how to choose the best plan for me, or I did choose a plan based on the recommendation of a well-meaning friend or family member, and now I don't think it's actually the right one for me. Ryan Raphael is the best at matching you with a plan that lets you keep your own physicians and keep your prescriptions. It's like having the highest quality consultant on your team. The best news, it's free to you. Under the law, his fees are paid by the insurance companies. Go to MedicareManSTL.com or call 314-368-6808. That's Ryan Raphael's cell phone number just for you.
It's your land, your tractor, and your time to save. Built for any task, a John Deere compact tractor can handle it all. Right now, enjoy 0% financing, cash rebates, and hard-to-beat offers only at Seidenstricker Nobe. Designed to last and trusted for generations. Mow it, move it, dig it, and get it done. Visit us at snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 10/31/2025. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Questions continue to pile up about that Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner crash. And Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent in LA, joins us with what he knows at this hour. Hey, Alex.
Hey there, yeah. Just like in the U.S., India's government, they follow the NTSB model, and the NTSB has been helping out as well. But after about a month to 6 weeks following an incident, they put out a preliminary report that doesn't give a conclusion of what went on, doesn't name a cause, but says, here's what we know, very preliminarily. And then usually about a year later or a year after the accident, a cause is announced. But this initial report into the Boeing 787 Dreamliner that was seen on video taking off out of India, then falling into a neighborhood last month, bursting into flames, killing a lot of people on the ground and all but one on board. And the report has some surprising findings in it. The fuel switches were turned off moments after the plane lifted off the runway, turning off the engines, shutting them down as the switches are designed to do. And these are right below the thrust levers on every Boeing aircraft, whether it be a 767, a Dreamliner, a 747, a 737. John Nance, a former 737 pilot, our ABC News aviation consultant, saying this.
Somebody turned the engines off, and they would have known, since these are two qualified pilots, they would have known what the consequences were. So either there was a mental aberration or it was purposeful.
And that's the thing. So these switches have a locking mechanism in them, and they work independently. So you move one, it doesn't move the other one. They cannot be accidentally switched. They have to be pulled out and moved to the other position around a metal gate to prevent them from being switched by accident or being hit by an elbow or being vibrated into the other position. And the head of Air India is calling on people not to speculate that one of the pilots did it on purpose. But John is saying
it's a lever lock switch. You have to pull it out and pull it down and put it back in, so you can't accidentally hit it and have it go off or on.
Now, guys, we also know from the report what the pilots were saying in the cockpit. Steve Ganyard, our other aviation analyst, has gone through the transcripts.
We do know that one of the pilots asked the other pilot, why did you move those switches? Why did you cut off the fuel to both of the engines? The other pilot said, I didn't do it.
So one pilot accused the other of turning off the engines right as they were lifting off. Then the data shows that they tried to restart the engines. One began to spool back up. They both ignited, but one was spooling back up. The other one did not get time to produce any thrust because they were so close to the ground. But either this was a major mistake, which seems tough to have made with two experienced pilots, that there is no procedure in the world that right after liftoff that you shut off both engines, or it was a big, really weird flaw that has never been seen in a Dreamliner before, or it was intentional and it was essentially a murder-suicide. But none of that is yet clear. The switch got turned off. The engines went off as they're designed to do. There is now an aviation psychologist that has been brought into the investigation. That says something on the surface as well, that they're going to look into the pilot's psychology. But at this point, we know that they were turned off for some reason or another.
How scary. And Alex, do we know anything about the pilot at this point?
Well, we don't know, which pilot touched the controls, and they don't seem to know either. Now, one accuses the other one of doing it, and they did not identify which one was talking to the other one. We don't know if it's the captain or the first officer. That's not to say that if it was intentional, that the person who did it, knowing they're being recorded, didn't blame the other person.
Sure.
We don't know. And there was an issue years ago with 737s that had a switch malfunction there without the gate on it. But that was in production, and they immediately realized what was going on. This was an 11-year-old Dreamliner. Seems like over 11 years, if there was something wrong with not one, but both of those switches that would have simultaneously made them switch, that over 11 years, pilots would have said, something's not right here.
Yeah. So at this point, we should all feel safe getting on a Boeing 787.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Air India is telling their mechanics to check out every Boeing aircraft they've got to make sure there's not a malfunction of some kind, but there's no indication that there is, that this is something that pilots, looking at the data of what they see here, it seems like this had to have been done by fingers manipulating whether it be intentional or by mistake, manipulating those switches, but why anybody would do it just by mistake on takeoff, why their hands would even be there, there'd be no reason.
Alex, we talk to you about air stuff all the time. You cover it for ABC News. We get a huge presence of Boeing here in St. Louis. What's the latest with them? Are they cleaning up house? Are they doing better in all aspects, especially commercial airline?
It's a good question. It seems like they're doing better. We haven't heard a lot about them. We know that the 737 MAX situation has kind of been cleaned up under the Trump administration, that if you remember, the charges had been dropped and a deal had been brought, and then it was re-implemented under the Biden administration, and they were facing charges for the two deadly 737 MAX crashes. Now, under the Trump administration, it is again going away, so Boeing will be able to essentially pay a fine and move forward. But yeah, we haven't heard a lot about the company or problems recently.
All right, Alex Stone, always good to hear from you. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment, you fill out a health questionnaire form, you get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home, and then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners, and then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Seems like everyone has some sort of hail damage to their car. And if that's you, Dents Express is the next phone call. You see, Dents Express has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision repair. They have 2 locations. At Dents Express, they will work with your insurance company and handle all the paperwork and get your car back to you looking as good as new. Dents Express, STL.com. 2 locations, 1 great family, Dents Express, STL.com.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Truck drivers, it's time to take your skills to a company that invests in your safety and comfort. Schneider's newer and well-maintained equipment keeps drivers moving and making money. Our trucks are spec'd with the latest safety and comfort features that drivers want. Plus, we offer a huge selection of driving jobs so you can find a job with the home time and schedule you've been looking for. Upgrade to a better driving job today. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
4:33. Let's toss it over to the KTRS Traffic Center and Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on westbound 64 before Clayton Skinker is still blocking the right lane with traffic jammed back to Kings Highway. Southbound 270 is crowded from Olive down to 64. Southbound 55 heavy from Gasconade to South Broadway. And westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs. That has southbound 55 jammed from Illinois 143 down to 270. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Most stay dry this evening, but an isolated storm mainly south of St. Louis not out of the question. Those would fade by sunset. Dry, patchy fog overnight and a low of 73. Very muggy day. In fact, that high of 88 Tuesday afternoon will feel like 94 for the heat index. We do have to watch for an isolated but strong storm in the afternoon to early evening. Gusty winds, maybe a quick downpour, about a 40% chance because these are hit and miss. But again, afternoon to early evening, let's watch for a heavy thunder shower. Otherwise, Wednesday, a lower rain chance at 20%, but a higher temperature, a high of 93. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Over the weekend, I booked 2 more RV trips. I'm pretty excited. We're going to go to Indianapolis. We're going to see the Fever, but then they have what is sort of the equivalent to our Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, only they have a RV park attached to it.
Really?
So we're going to go to a show, and then we'll stay out there afterwards. But that's the thing about RVing is you can go wherever you want to go. It's not necessarily about going to the national parks, though that is a great one, or the state parks. It's really about whatever you want to make of it. And that's what Byerly RV has known for close to 80 years. You know, RVs aren't what they used to be. We had a pop-up growing up, no air conditioning, couple of oscillating fans, and most of our time was spent outside. Now with this RV, I mean, we've got 3 TVs. We've got, you know, a fireplace inside. It is whatever you want. There are small RVs that you can pull behind just about any kind of car or truck you're driving, or you can go to the motorhomes and drive it yourself. So many options at Byerly RV. They have more than 30 brands of new RVs in stock. I'm talking travel trailers, fifth wheels, camper vans, gas and diesel motorhomes. Then they have a great selection of used inventory as well. But whatever it is you're looking for, you'll find it at Byerly RV, and the sales staff will walk you through everything you need to know. And just as a reminder, buying an RV isn't like buying a car. You can actually kind of finance it out for a much longer period of time. It's more like a mortgage as far as that goes. So check out ByerlyRV.com. That's the website. They also, by the way, have the best service department and a fantastic storage facility. You can also swing by Byerly RV right there in Eureka at 109 and 44. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we had the founder of the Angel Band Project on. This is a not-for-profit that helps survivors of domestic violence, and sometimes it's sexual violence. And they are doing this push to raise $25,000 by the end of the day tomorrow. It's a campaign they call Amplify Hope. And they had an anonymous donor yesterday offered to direct match every donation made today and tomorrow up to $5,000.
Wow.
I wish I had that kind of money
Great match.
to say
That's
that.
incredible.
So anyway, Angel Band Project, people can just text the word HOPE to 314-557-7727 to make a tax-deductible donation. But it's a great organization.
You're talking about the RV life, and if you take an RV trip and you have your own home on wheels, you could avoid the airport. Did you see?
It's one of the reasons we do take the RV more times.
Did you see the pictures of the Southwest Terminal?
I did.
Sunday morning.
Head aches.
Yes, the airport has weighed in and had mentioned that the Seventh-day Adventist Conference was in town. It was here from July 3rd through the 12th.
I was going to say downtown was busy.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I remember we were at City Museum last Thursday, and when I was checking in, I saw somebody with a shirt on that said Seventh-day Adventist, and so I knew they were in town. They said up to 50,000 people were in town for this conference, and a lot of them were all leaving Sunday morning, and they said that most passengers needing to check bags, and not enough people signed up for TSA PreCheck or that Clear, which is that private company that offers.
I did Clear for a minute.
Not anymore, though? Are you PreCheck now?
No.
You need to get PreCheck. You are, right, Bob? You travel all the time.
I've had TSA PreCheck for years. But now with the new shoe policy, I don't think as many people sign up.
Yeah, I don't either.
So they were saying that people getting to the airport early actually
cause problems.
You know, because they were going through and everything it didn't seem like we were on all of our news outlets getting answers, because you could have 1 million people show up. You only have a certain amount of airplanes and seats. So there wouldn't be more than that. So why the backup? My guess is the only thing that I can make sense of is that people said, well, we're checking out. Let's all get a cab. And everybody was going at the same time.
Your flight's at 8. Mine's not until 11, but I'll just
mine's
I'll
not
hitch a
till
ride with
noon,
you.
but I'll sit around and eat. And so everybody showed up at the same time. That's the only thing I can figure that makes any sense at all.
Because the airport knows how many people are booked.
Yeah, it's finite.
Well ahead
It's
of time.
a finite number.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see if
That's
they
weird.
start offering any more further answers on it. But they said by the afternoon it had all sorted out. They said some weather delays in other cities.
Had some planes coming late.
Which caused some of the backup. But if you saw the pictures online, it was pretty messy.
3 hours.
Ow.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show, this Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
It's Julie Buck here for Dense Express STL. Let's talk about a live and local company that is really doing an incredible job. Let's shine a spotlight on this family-owned business. They are fantastic at what they do. And of course, they fix your car when you have dents. I mean, we've had a lot of hail damage that's gone around lately, and there are some people that like to put it off. Well, don't worry. You can still get this covered in most cases under insurance. And our friends at Dense Express STL will actually take care of the paperwork for you, because that's one of the things that I feel like deters people from getting that repair done. But do it. Get your car back to looking good, making your ride look smooth. Make also minor collision repairs, Dense Express STL. And they do want you to make an appointment. That's the best thing to do. It's just to make an appointment. You can simply do that online, or you can call them. Find out more on their website. It's denseexpressstl.com with 2 locations, one in St. Charles and one in Baldwin.
Permajack of St. Louis is synonymous with foundation repair and basement waterproofing across the St. Louis region. They know when you get water in your basement following a storm or when the snow melts, it means you have a problem. Make sure your basement doesn't leak or flood flood with PermaJack of St. Louis. PermaJack's basement waterproofing experts can perform a complete inspection of your basement to determine the problem and design a solution to keep water from entering and damaging your home. The solution could be as simple as crack repair, or a sump pump, or more comprehensive, like exterior waterproofing, or an internal perimeter drainage system. No matter the solution, your basement will be dry with Hometown PermaJack. Schedule a free inspection and estimate by visiting permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. PermaJack, foundation repair and waterproofing. Done right.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Lots to talk about when it comes to sports. KTR Sports Director Brendan Weesey is here. And let's start with the Cardinals. How long was that game? And how many people were still sitting?
4+ hours of rain delays yesterday, and a game that started at 1 o'clock was still going when St. Louis City SC got underway for their 6 o'clock game last night. So, hey, worth the wait, I guess. You hang around and you end up getting a late win, and you really needed it going into the All-Star break after a couple tough losses to the Braves. So worth the wait, and now you head down to Atlanta for the All-Star game, home run derby tonight, game tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.
Didn't they take the All-Star game away from Atlanta and give it to Colorado?
They did.
Some weird political thing that was going on, but they gave it back to them.
I guess this is. I don't. They're getting it. They're getting it this year. I don't remember exactly mechanically what went on.
I'm going to look up which outrage it was that caused it to move.
It was one of the voting bills that they had go down.
Oh yeah,
remember?
yeah.
And it's not that long ago. It was
the Larry
just a few
David
years
one
ago.
where you can't offer people a bottle of water.
Believe so.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Very interesting. I mean, as you mentioned on the All-Star break, we're represented, but barely.
Barely. Brendan Donovan, very, very deserving to be down there. I don't think there were too many others that had much of a case to be on the team.
Phil Maton maybe, but that's a stretch.
A month ago, it felt like Matthew Liberatore was making a push, but that really didn't work out as he struggled the last month and a half or so.
Our guy Rip Rowan is going, the visiting clubhouse guy at Busch Stadium. He'd been the home guy for many years now.
What switched?
I don't know why. I don't know the story why he switched. I'm certain it was his choice.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
He's wonderful, and I'm glad he's getting to go.
Yeah. Who picks that? Who votes on the
I think they're assigned.
Okay.
And I think it has to do with kind of like seniority and, those sorts of things.
And they have a lot of different ways. I mean, it was pretty uniform. Fans voted way back when with the paper ballots.
Yeah.
And then you picked your reserves, and the coaching staff was sort of already set. I think a lot of times, remember, it's the World Series participating teams that have the manager there. I went back and watched the St. Louis All-Star game back in 2000. At least I watched the best part of the All-Star game tomorrow, and it's something the other All-Star games don't get because we have gotten to the point where the games, they don't matter as much, but they need to maintain the tradition of announcing the lineups and the rosters. It really is the best part, and what St. Louis did 16 years ago, and they did it right. Of course, it was
the
Albert's
red carpet,
All-Star game.
It was,
all of the living St. Louis Hall of Famers. Stan was still here back then, and that was just a phenomenal 30-minute, 45-minute pregame that they did for the St. Louis All-Star game.
Am I correct in saying that this will be better than it's been in a couple of decades because the players will wear their own uniform?
The uniforms are back, and I don't know how long that's been going. It's been a few years now, at least, since they've gone to these very generic, not very attractive looking uniforms, and they weren't even wearing their hats.
No, it was terrible.
You couldn't tell who was playing.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
terrible.
One of the neat things about this game and this week is to see your player in your uniform
at the All-Star game.
That's exactly
game.
That
right.
matters, and thankfully, one of the few good decisions Rob Manfred's made over the years. This is one that seemed like it was just sitting there on a tee to do. Just do it, and then maybe you do a gimmicky hat. I don't know exactly what they'll look like.
And I believe they'll be wearing the All-Star jerseys tonight,
which is what they used to do,
which is fine.
And it made exactly right.
I get
exactly
the sales.
right.
All right, the Cardinal hat, I'm looking at it right now. It's the red Cardinal hat with a black bill and 2 stars on the top and a patch on the side.
Okay.
So,
fine with it.
Yeah.
Fine with it.
While we're talking about some All-Stars, how about Matt Holliday's son being picked a little earlier than maybe expected?
Well, he was the top prospect on the board, Ethan Holiday, and he actually went a couple of picks, I think, late. I mean, I think most people thought he'd go number 1 overall.
Really?
He ends up going number 4 overall to Matt's old team, the Rockies. Kind of a cool thing to see Colorado land a kid. This wasn't an overly stacked draft when it comes to talent, at least on the surface. The Cardinals had the very next pick. There was a chance you're thinking, wow, could Holiday slide to the Cardinals?
In fact, we had mentioned that last week. Had Colorado not taken him, I wonder if the Cardinals would have felt like he was the guy.
They probably would have felt compelled to do something. You hear people say, well, they've got all these shortstops already. Who cares? I mean, everybody plays. The best athletes play shortstop. If you don't want them to play there, you move them somewhere else. And I think they're trying to figure that out with J.J. Weatherholt right now. As long as Mason Wynn is healthy, he's your shortstop, so you probably eventually have to do something with Weatherholt's position. But Cardinals get a pitcher. They got a lot of pitchers in this draft. They need a lot of pitchers. But Doyle, the kid they got from Tennessee, touches 100 miles per hour, has a big kind of explosive personality, and comes from a Tennessee program. In fact, they drafted a Tennessee high school kid and another Tennessee Vol with their first 3 selections. But this Doyle kid is the SEC Pitcher of the Year, the best baseball conference in America. So I think that matters a little bit here, and I'll be very curious to see how quickly the Cardinals are able to move him through the system. That's one of the luxuries when you draft one of these mature especially college pitchers. They're ready for the big leagues a lot sooner.
Some people thinking by next year sometime.
That would be my goal, right? I think this year would be too early, but certainly sometime middle of next season, you'd like to see him close at the very least.
That's exciting. And City SC finally got a win.
Finally got a win last night. They come back to beat Portland 2-1. Marcel Hartle with both goals there in the second half. Sloppy game. Neither of these teams looked all that good, but credit City for finding a way to come back. The header
winner was a pretty cool looking goal, though.
It was a really cool goal, and I think this was a team that they don't have many wins on the year as it is. That was just the second win for interim coach David Critchley. But to come back to get the win, you were down 1-0, scored both goals in the second half. Shows a little fight, a little gumption out of this team, so it's good to see.
What's coming up tonight?
We've got Howard Richards talking SEC Media Days, which is just underway today down in Atlanta. Josh Carpenter, our pal from the Sports Business Journal, helping us preview the British Open, which begins late Wednesday night into Thursday from Royal Portrush.
Just the Open.
The Open.
The Open Championship.
We're the Open. Not
I don't
the
know
British
that
Open.
course.
So it's only the third time they've played at Portrush. It's Rory's home course, if you will. So they played there in 2019, and Rory was almost like the de facto host. Goes up on the first tee. It's a very narrow fairway, and OB. If you hit anything in the rough, it's very close to OB. He ends up OB. Picks up a quad bogey on his first hole and never really recovered. Got within a shot.
And he kind of lost it yesterday, too.
He did, but it was good to see him contending again because he hadn't in a while. It's been a really rough go for him after the Masters win. So I feel like his form is starting to come back a little bit. He'll be one of the favorites. I think there's a lot of guys you could consider in this tournament with the weather that sometimes can play havoc.
I love it because it's so different. Everything about it's
exactly
different.
right. It leads to a lot of different random outcomes.
Yep.
I mean, Scotty will be the overall favorite, but I would absolutely take the field in a tournament like this over because there's too many things that can happen. Again, he's got the best skill set right now, but I'd take the field over Scotty right now.
All right. We'll be listening tonight and then
Thanks,
watching
Heidi.
a little bit later. Thanks,
You got
Brendan.
it.
5 minutes before 5, this show is moving right along. Is traffic, Captain Paul?
Heidi, an accident on westbound 64 before Clayton Skinker is still blocking the right lane with traffic jammed back to Kings Highway. Westbound 64 is also heavy from Prospect to the 6470 merge. Southbound 270 crowded from north of Olive down to 64. Southbound 55 is running at about 20 miles per hour from Gasconade to South Broadway. Southbound 170 bogs down at Forest Park Parkway. And westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs. That has southbound 55 jammed from Illinois 143 to 270. This traffic report is brought to you by Aldon Indoor Air Quality Specialists. Repairs are cheaper than replacements. That's a myth. Stop pouring money into that old AC. We'll buy back your old AC system and give you $500 plus 0% financing for 24 months. Your family stays cool and your wallet does too. Visit al-don.com to learn more about Daikin Fit Systems. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Save at HW Kia. New Kia K4 LXS, $19,995 with any trade. Save on every new HW Kia. Like the 25 Kia Sportage EX, just $219 a month lease. Or Carnival EX, just $419 a month with a zero security deposit. HWKia.com. On approved credit, not all will qualify. Plus tax, title, license at 587, title and registration processing fee. Negative equity, refinanced and new loan. Rebates and incentives to dealer. 24 months, 10,000 mile lease. $65.95 due. Offers not in combination. Expires 7/6/25. Get to HW Kia, because if you're stuck in a loan or lease, Big D the trade man will get you released. Up to 120% over KBB fair market value for any trade. Have a job clearing $450 per week at HW Kia. You're practically approved. First-time buyers, past repossessions. Even if you've had a bankruptcy, we finance your future, not your past. HWKia.com. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Plus tax, title, license, and 587 title and registration processing fee. Negative equity, refinanced and new loan.
You can count on Cantor. I'm Mark Cantor. When I was 12 years old, I witnessed my father, a pediatric doctor at Cardinal Glennon Hospital, suffer a terrible accident when a large and defective battery exploded in his face. My father went into shock and had to undergo emergency surgery to save his life. While my dad recovered, he hired a lawyer who promised that no one else would be hurt by that company's product, and he filed a lawsuit to make sure no one did. I love my dad, and what he went through inspired me to become a lawyer and to start Cantor Injury Law. Like my father, I serve the St. Louis community, and I have done so for over 30 years. You can count on Cantor to treat you like family. to understand your case and your injury and to fight for you. You can count on Cantor to help make things right. Visit cantorinjurylaw.com or find us on Facebook or call us at 314-628-9999. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision, should not be based solely upon advertisement, so call Cantor.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like homestyle food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
You're selling your home and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robangproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes, vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw Millhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com. For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
The Big 550.
KTRS, St. Louis.
Kentucky police say they're working to determine a motive for the shooting at a Baptist church Sunday, saying the alleged gunman, Guy House, may have had a connection with the 2 women killed and 2 others injured. ABC News has learned through House's estranged girlfriend that he also had a history of mental illness and drug possession. Kentucky State Police Sergeant Matt Sudduth says the investigation into how he got a gun is ongoing.
I'm not going to speculate as to why he had a gun. If he had, obviously he had a firearm because of what we know, but I can't speculate as to how he got that.
Police say earlier House also shot at a state trooper and carjacked a vehicle. President Trump announcing an arms deal with NATO to deliver defense weapons to Ukraine. The president also vowed to slap another round of steep sanctions if Russia's leader does not get a peace deal done in 50 days.
It's got to stop. It's got to stop. But the purpose of this is to say that this is a very big deal we've made. This is billions of dollars worth of military equipment is going to be purchased from the United States, going to NATO, etc. And that's going to be quickly distributed to the battlefield.
FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino has not made any public appearances since criticizing Attorney General Pam Bondi's decision not to release more records related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Bongino, along with Trump's base, has been calling for the release. Democrats say Americans deserve to know the truth. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says there are only a few options to hold back the release of the Epstein files.
Option 1, they lied for years. Option 2, they're engaging in a cover-up.
President Trump standing by Bondi's decision not to release the files. Education Department employees say they're heartbroken over the Supreme Court's decision to lift an injunction that allows the President Trump's administration to move forward with layoffs and dismantle the Education Department. It includes the firing of some 1,400 workers. You're listening to ABC News.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. A man is dead after a shooting outside of a Metro East bar. Police say this happened early yesterday morning at the Third Shoot Bar and Grill in Alton. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. A suspect was taken into custody. Police say the victim and the suspect knew each other. The victim's name has not been released. The suspect's name is being withheld pending charges. An investigation is underway after a body was found in a wooded area in Alton. Police say the discovery was made yesterday afternoon near 7th Street and Piasaw Street. An autopsy is planned to determine a cause of death. Police haven't identified the victim. A man is accused of making an online terrorist threat against the Lincoln County Fair over its new clear bag policy. Ryan Hartline is charged with first-degree terrorist threat and second-degree harassment for allegedly posting a threat on Facebook which read, "I'ma bring whatever I want. Got a problem? Take it up with my sidearm." Hartland is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow. Thousands of travelers face long lines flying out of Lambert Airport's Terminal 2 Sunday morning. Security needed to shut down the entrances for a time to manage crowd control. Lines of Southwest passengers lined the sidewalk outside waiting to get in. There were reports of some waiting in line up to 3 hours to check their bags and get through security, causing them to miss their flights. Airport officials said the lines included many who attended the Seventh-day Adventist Conference in St. Louis with 50,000 attendees from around the world that ended on Sunday morning. The deadline is approaching for public feedback ahead of Missouri's sports betting regulations are finalized. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
The deadline to submit public comments to the Missouri Sports Commission is this Wednesday. Then on Thursday, the commission will hold a public hearing in Jefferson City to focus on how operators will be licensed. Missouri is set to launch legal sports betting by December 1st. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
Another safe haven baby box is coming to Missouri. A blessing will be held tomorrow afternoon for the installation of a baby box at O'Fallon Fire Protection District. A safe haven baby box allows for the legal safe surrender of a baby with complete anonymity. This baby box marks the 347th location in the nation and the 7th in Missouri. Patients were being evacuated from a hospital in Washington County on Sunday after part of the building filled with smoke. Officials say a mechanical failure caused smoke to fill the laboratory of Washington County Memorial Hospital in Potosi. There's an expansion of storage facilities that operate in Missouri. Details from KTRS's Jim Fairchild.
Storage Mart and Manhattan Mini Storage third-party management have announced a significant portfolio expansion through a collaborative onboarding of 27 self-storage facilities formerly operated by Metro Storage, located across 7 states, including Missouri, and representing over 2 million rentable square feet and 18,672 storage units. These facilities are now fully integrated into the company's third-party management platform and are operating under the Storage Mart or Manhattan Mini Storage brand. Jim Fairchild, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Wall Street at the close today. Dow Jones up 88 points to close at 44,459. S&P 500 up 8 to close at 6,268. And NASDAQ up 54 points to close at 20,640. Now let's get a check of sports and traffic from Captain Paul Kopsky.
Okay, thanks, Sobe. Illinois football beat out Mizzou and Oklahoma, among others, to secure Kirkwood prospect Jacob Eberhardt. The Pioneers wide receiver gives Illini coach Brett Bielema another 4-star recruit. And yesterday, the Cardinals weathered more than 4 hours of rain delays to beat the Braves 5-4 at Busch. It sends the Birds into the All-Star break with 51 wins, 5 games above the 500 mark. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. An accident on westbound 64 before Clayton Skinker is still blocking the right lane and has been for almost 2 hours. Traffic is jammed back to Kings Highway. Westbound 64 is also heavy from Lake St. Louis Boulevard to the 6470 merge. Southbound 270 crowded from north of Olive to 64. Southbound 55 is running about 25 miles per hour from Gasconade to South Broadway. And westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs. That has southbound 55 jammed from Illinois 143 to 270. This traffic report is brought to you by Sound Health Services. With summer in full bloom, allergy symptoms can become unbearable. For allergy relief, call on the Sound Health Services team for allergy testing and treatment at 314-722-4204. That's 314-722-4204 or soundhealthservices.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather. Today, partly cloudy and muggy, high of 87. Tonight, cloudy with an overnight low of 72. Tomorrow, chance of rain with a high of 85. Currently, it's partly cloudy, 87 degrees at 5:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
The storms are back, the wind, the hail, the damage to the roof. And when the roof gets damaged, who do you call? You call John Bill Roofing. But the storms are back. You know who else follows the storms? The storm chasers. These are the teams of people who come and leave a note on your door, mailbox, maybe your windshield wiper, and they tell you to call, and you think you're getting a deal. You give them half the money, and you never see them again. With John Bill Roofing, they've been in this business for a long time right here in St. Louis. They live, work, and play, and they guarantee you to give you the best price on your roof. When the roof gets damaged, your first phone call is to John Bill Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, or johnbillroofing.com. Roofing, siding, gutters, John Bill Roofing. Residential, commercial, industrial, a company you can trust, a company that lives, works, and plays right here in St. Louis. Make it local. Make it John Beal or johnbillroofing.com.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
Do you love pickleball? Experience Major League Pickleball right here in St. Louis, July 17th through the 20th at Chavis Arena. Feel the energy as the world's best teams battle it out for first place. Every serve, rally, and point. It's electric. It's more than a match. Enjoy great food, fun activities, and an exciting family-friendly atmosphere. Meet the stars, get autographs, and see all the action up close. Tickets are limited, so get them now at MLPSTL.com. That's MLPSTL.com. Major League Pickleball. There's nothing else like it.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, asking you to join us weekly as we present the KTRS Book Club, presented by the St. Louis County Library for readers of every generation. Books transport us anywhere our imagination wants to go. They are absolutely magical. The KTRS Book Club will introduce you to local and national authors, events, and special programs presented by the St. Louis County Library every week from 3 to 6 right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS. Now it's time for the KTRS Book Club.
It's called reading. Top to bottom, left to right. Group words together as a sentence.
Powered each week by the St. Louis County Library on the Big 550.
Well, you see, I spell them like they sound, you know.
KTRS.
There's an interesting new book about the end of the Civil War. Scott Ellsworth is a best-selling historian and the author of Midnight on the Potomac. He'll be at St. Louis County Library tomorrow night, but we get a chance to talk to him first. Thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon.
Well, thanks, Heidi. I'm delighted to be on your show.
So is this book about the final battles? Is it about the people making the decisions? Give us a little more.
Well, it's sort of about all of that. You know, most books about the Civil War are about generals. They're about battles. But this is a book where you're going to learn all of that. You're also going to learn about political pressures as well. But you're also going to learn about everyday Americans, some of the regular soldiers, going to learn about what part that women played in the war, what African Americans, what they did during the war. So it's a broad look. It's sort of a look at the big picture at this pivotal last year.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Scott, because so many books have been written about the Civil War in different facets. How did you pick out the slices of the war to fit into your narrative?
Well, I think it came about a couple ways. One, I had been looking a few years ago for the subject of a new book, and I was thinking, about, our current moment, how horribly divided we are as a nation. And the only time we had been so divided was really back in the 1850s and 1860s. And I started looking at that. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized that really in that last year, we just were able to, keep the Union together by the skin of our teeth. And the more I dug into that, the more I thought there's a good story here and one that's gotten passed by.
Now, you mentioned the book tells about just the regular people that were involved and were living here during the Civil War. With the way that news traveled back in the 1860s, with the way that people lived back then, how much were people knowing or entrenched in why we were involved in the war? How much were people able to keep up with the politics of Washington and state politics at the time?
I think, probably less so on the actual day-to-day. There was no, 1860s version of, Fox News or CNN or something like that. So some of that, but people were they knew what they were fighting for on both sides of the line. There was no question about that. And they were involved. They were committed. The Civil War, this is sort of an amazing fact, but 1 out of every 50 Americans died during the Civil War.
Oh, man.
There was hardly a single family that wasn't touched by the war. So great sacrifices were made by people. They knew what they were fighting for. And this is important, too, because the Civil War was the first total war in world history where entire societies were mobilized, to win the fight. So it wasn't just what happened on the battlefield, but it's what people were doing on the home front as well that eventually carried the day.
Scott, what was it like for a common soldier day to day? Do we have any idea what it looked like?
Oh, I think so, very much so in terms of, their rations, which were, there wasn't a lot of variety in that, sleeping in, living and sleeping in the same uniform 24 hours a day. You might have a bedroll to lie on the ground. These were really tough people. And by 1864 and 1865, after they had lost so many battles early on, the Union Army really became a toughened, hardened fighting force, and they were capable of taking on the Confederates, which had proven themselves to be magnificent soldiers early in the conflict.
And talk a little bit about the role that the enslaved African Americans played.
Well, they are absolutely key to this. And in fact, Lincoln said that had it not been for African American troops, we would not have defeated the Confederacy, just flat out. They become very important. They want to fight from the beginning. It takes a long time for that to happen. But not only did you have black soldiers who are joining the Union Army, but you also have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of African Americans who are fleeing to Union lines where they work as laundresses and cooks and driving wagons, and they're freeing up, other soldiers to go ahead and to carry on the fight. They're absolutely crucial to this victory.
And Scott, how much do you get into, you were talking about how it affected everybody in 1 in 50, and then I started to think, even as far north as Pennsylvania and from coast to coast in the South, all the way to out to the American West, there were battles. The war was going on. Do you touch much onto what regular Americans in those battle zones had to do to survive?
Oh yeah, it's somewhat, but what the book introduces to a lot of readers that they don't know about is that when the Confederacy realized they weren't going to be able to win the war on the battlefield by the spring of 1864, and that they were going to eventually lose just simply due to attrition.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't replace their soldiers as quick as the North did. So what the Confederacy did is they launched a terror war against the loyal citizens of the North, mainly based out of Canada, where you had Confederate Secret Service agents. They had $500,000 in funds. Confederate raiders raided a town in Vermont. They captured a steamship on Lake Erie. They tried to burn down New York City.
Wow.
So there's a lot of a story that really hasn't been told.
So it was really the entire nation. I did not know that. That's fascinating.
Absolutely. And the other great surprise is that it turns out that John Wilkes Booth is nothing like the version that we've all been taught.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught, and you probably all were too, that Booth was sort of a troubled young man, a second-rate actor who was living in the shadow of his father and more famous father and older brother. That wasn't the case at all. Booth was an absolute superstar.
Mm-hmm.
He sold out theaters across the country. He played in St. Louis, right downtown, as a matter of fact. He was hailed as a genius. He was a giant of the American stage, and he wasn't this sort of lone wolf that we long suspected him to be.
How did he become radicalized?
Well, he became radicalized, certainly early on, even though his family did not own slaves. He grew up in Maryland, a slave state, but he was very much a Southern partisan. But what the book points out that some others had ferreted out this information before I did is that he had a lot of contacts with the Confederate Secret Service. He likely had a meeting with 3 or 4 agents in Boston during the summer of 1864. Shortly thereafter, he traveled to Montreal, met with agents there, met with more agents, in Maryland and D.C. as well. So, we don't have any smoking guns on this, but it to me at least, it seems clear that the idea of assassinating the president, the way of planning it, was probably not Booth's ideas, but one that someone gave him.
Were there other, secret agents and conspiracies?
Oh, yeah, there was a bunch. I write about them. There was an incredible young 20-something-year-old Confederate secret agent named Thomas Conrad. He had taught at a private school in Georgetown. His first plan was to murder Winfield Scott, who was the first Union Army commander, but was talked out of that. And then he had elaborate plans to kidnap President Lincoln. We also know that there were some assassination attempts that have been forgotten. One night while riding alone on horseback from the White House to the Soldiers' Home, which was sort of the summer White House, an assassin shot Lincoln's top hat off of his head.
Whoa,
and
what?
There are other incidents as well, too. So this book is going to stir some controversy probably, but this is all hard facts, and, it's the truth that's there.
You mentioned in the notes here that you, as a child, went to Robert E. Lee Elementary School.
I sure did. I played shortstop for the Lee Generals.
How about that? Fitting name.
It's awesome.
So what of Robert E. Lee? We've heard a lot about why he joined the Confederacy. How much was he fighting for the Confederacy, fighting for the cause, and how much was he fighting for Virginia?
Well, that we had all been taught, and I certainly was taught at Lee Elementary, that, that Lee hated slavery, that he really didn't want to, resign his commission, and it was only when Virginia seceded. There's some truth to that, but there's also a lot of falsehood to that as well, too. There's no notion that he didn't dislike slavery. He knew that he was fighting for slavery. He certainly betrayed his solemn oath to the United States. So I think that Lee has been, he's turned into a writer once called him the Marble Man, as this great figure of honor. And I think the more you dig into him a little bit, he was obviously a great general, but in terms of his motivations, he was like many of the other leading Confederates. They were out to defend slavery and to win independence, to have a nation that they felt was more like the true the United States, and have one where slavery would continue and flourish.
We're talking to Scott Ellsworth, a best-selling historian, author of a new book, Midnight on the Potomac. And you mentioned how we're divided now as a country, and of course we were there during the Civil War. Is that why you decided to write this book now in 2025?
I think that was part of it. But, what also happened, the more I dug into this, and it normally takes a while for a book to gestate. It took probably a year and a half to figure out that this would be something that would work, working with my editor and agent and all that. But this book is also about the courage and the grit and the steadfastness of the American people. They were able to preserve our country, to defeat the Confederacy of loyal Americans, to defeat slavery. And we really stand on their shoulders. And I really wanted to write a book that recognized them, all of them, not just the generals and the colonels, and things like that, but the everyday citizens as well. You mentioned women, but touch on their role for a minute. Well, they played a lot of different roles, when we're eager to get in the fight, Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women, she said, I wish I was a man, but I could get into the fight. So instead, she left, the Northeast, came to Washington, D.C., and threw herself in working as a nurse, an untrained nurse in a hospital in Georgetown. Here she is, bathing soldiers, changing wounds, all of that. It got to a point where doctors would ask her to inform a dying soldier that, his time was up. And, there were lots of other women like that who left their homes, came to Washington, and others started to work, in the federal government. This was the first real burst of women working in the federal government. And then on farms, throughout the country, when the men were away, the women would have to take part and pitch in and keep things going. And on the other side, in the Confederacy, it was often remarked that it was the women, the white women of the Confederacy, they were the most strident in terms of trying to keep the war going. So women play a big part in this war. Well, it sounds like a must read. You can hear more from Scott tomorrow night at 7 at the Clark Family Branch of the St. Louis County Library. You can find his new book, Midnight on the Potomac, The Last Year of the Civil War, the Lincoln Assassination, and the Rebirth of America at Left Bank Books and wherever books are sold. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to read it. Thanks a lot. It was great to be on the show.
Merry Christmas, boys and girls.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer, and it is Christmas in July. We're partnering up with the Salvation Army to make sure the neediest kids in our region get toys. The Salvation Army provides Christmas gifts to 6,500 St. Louis kids who wouldn't have much Christmas without the Angel Tree Toy Town event. Thanks to the tornado that damaged so many homes in North St. Louis, the Salvation Army knows the need will be greater than ever this year.
Whew, only 10 million more lists to go.
Coming up in July, bring your family out for a fun outdoor movie event at Westport Plaza to watch The Sandlot on July 18th. Bring a new toy for the Salvation Army and enjoy the movie for free. It's Christmas in July, brought to you by KTRS and Westport Plaza, supporting the Salvation Army.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Your biggest
biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Something new is hidden inside City Museum, a twisting maze of metal and myth. Walls made of syrup tanks and Twinkie pans, glass from an old library, secrets behind every turn, and deep inside, a 2-story slide unlike anything before. The all-new 4th floor expansion, Labyrinth, is now open. You have to lose yourself to find your path. Play all summer with a summer play pass, only $34.99 at citymuseum.org.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
What's happening on the roads?
This is where St. Louis goes to get accurate traffic reports.
Westbound 64 is running at about 25 miles per hour from Kings Highway to Hampton.
Getting you to work on time.
In Illinois, southbound 255 is congested from 270 to 162.
And getting you home from work to take care of the kiddos and dinner.
170 is heavy from Olive down to 64.
It's Captain Paul Kopsky, the traffic person you know and trust. We are the Big 550. 29 years strong. KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550. KTRS.
529, Captain Paul, how are the roads looking?
Well, an accident on westbound 64 before Clayton Skinker has been moved off to the shoulder, but traffic is still jammed back to Kings Highway. Westbound 64 is also heavy from Lake St. Louis Boulevard to the 6470 merge. Southbound 270 crowded from north of Olive down to 64. Southbound 55 is congested from Gasconade to South Broadway, and westbound 5570 is closed between Illinois 159 and 157 for bridge repairs. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
We had Jordan Kimler with Premier U in earlier, and so many good reminders. She was really talking to us about how to be an advocate for your own health, but explaining that hormones are so much more than estrogen and testosterone, and that to balance out those hormones can really be life-changing. And that's what they help you with at Premier U. They can help you with that hormone optimization. They can help you with medical weight loss. That's what I've been seeing Jordan and the team at Premier U for. And in the process, also got my hormones balanced out. But you guys, I started this journey last Thanksgiving, and I have lost 20 pounds, and I have kept that 20 pounds off. It's not just about the number on the scale. It is so much more about just feeling better and having more confidence and wanting to actually put makeup on again and get into that outfit that maybe I thought I'd never get in again. Premier U can help you like they have helped me. Check them out online, PremierUmed.com. You can also call them 618-750-LIFE. Set up a consultation. They have locations on both sides of the river, Swansea and South County, but I promise you, they have changed my life and they can change yours too.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Most stay dry this evening, but an isolated storm mainly south of St. Louis not out of the question. Those would fade by sunset. Dry, patchy fog overnight and a low of 73. Very muggy day. In fact, that high of 88 Tuesday afternoon will feel like 94 for the heat index. We do have to watch for an isolated but strong storm in the afternoon to early evening. Gusty winds, maybe a quick downpour, about a 40% chance because these are hit and miss. But again, afternoon to early evening, let's watch for a heavy thunder shower. Otherwise, Wednesday, a lower rain chance at 20%, but a higher temperature, a high of 93. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Today is National Mac and Cheese Day, and I got to tell you, I went 4 years without eating mac and cheese, and I'm not sure how or why, but after my appendix and the whole thing of not eating for 8 days, one of the first things that I wanted was mac and cheese. So we had gone to an Applebee's there in Birmingham, and I really hadn't had much food at all. And I was thinking to myself, what can I keep down? What will be easiest? What do I know? And at Applebee's, their child menu has Kraft mac and cheese. And I'm like, well, that seems like the safest bet.
Isn't there an age restriction on that?
There isn't. But I have now worked it back into my diet on a regular basis, and it is so good.
Kraft mac and cheese is tremendous. Out of that box, it's gold magic.
It is gold magic.
Now, having said that, all the things restaurants are doing with mac and cheese.
Bacon mac.
The best I ever had. I think I told you guys, I ate at the Post Chicken and Beer restaurant in Estes Park a week and a half ago, right next to the Stanley Hotel, part of the Stanley Hotel. It was mac and cheese with bacon and some kind of little crumble, crusty stuff on top and green chili infusion. Oh my God.
Yeah. It was so good.
It was unbelievable.
I mean,
off the charts.
This is how good mac and cheese is. 56% of people would give up coffee or social media before mac and cheese, and I think I am now back with them.
I'm close.
Yeah, we had, when I worked at J-Bucks, we had little, pots of bean crocks of mac and cheese with bacon and the breadcrumbs on top.
Yeah.
But if you sweet talk the cooks, they'll throw pepper jack in and kind of whip it up so it's a little spicy.
That's what I was saying.
We are a Velveeta shells and cheese household.
Oh, you are.
So I hadn't had Kraft mac and cheese in probably a dozen years.
And
then we started making it for Finn to see if he'd like it. Well, he didn't finish it, so me and my wife tried it, and we were like, oh, it's a flavor that
Make more.
takes you right back to a time and a place.
And it's just so good. Did you like it better than the Velveeta?
I liked it for different reasons.
Okay.
The nostalgia factor was off the charts.
When you make it at home, do you do anything extra?
I do. I usually put the pouches of tuna. That's usually my Yeah, so kind of like a tuna casserole, but especially the herb and garlic tuna. I'll stir that in, and that is lunch.
I don't do anything more than the cracked black pepper.
Oh, yeah.
Give it a little,
yeah. That's good.
You go to some of the nicest restaurants in the country, and they'll have lobster mac and cheese.
Our friend Liz just said, I made homemade lobster mac and cheese for dinner Saturday night, and that sounds so good.
Next time you do, invite the show. We're coming.
Where do you get the lobster?
Somebody said a great food hack. Next day, fry the mac and cheese in a little bit of butter. OMG.
Oh, my.
Mac and cheese with cut up Polish sausage mixed in, unbeatable.
All right,
I'm getting hungry.
When we
me
do
too.
hot dogs, sometimes we'll buy a pound of pulled pork from Sugar Fire and just kind of mix it in. Put the mac and the pulled pork together.
But that's great.
I'll take the baked beans and the mac and cheese the next day and just kind of stir it all up together.
The baked beans with the mac and cheese?
Oh, yeah.
You've gone too far, sir.
No, like Heidi said, mac and cheese is the base for every casserole out there.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's great.
And yeah, I think we are all getting a little hungry.
Yeah. One pot mac and cheese recipes. Send them now, 84126.
A message from the master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newsletter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Do you love pickleball? Experience Major League Pickleball right here in St. Louis, July 17th through the 20th at Chavis Arena. Feel the energy as the world's best teams battle it out for first place. Every serve, rally, and point. It's electric. It's more than a match. Enjoy great food, fun activities, and an exciting family-friendly atmosphere. Meet the stars, get autographs, and see all the action up close. Tickets are limited, so get them now at MLPSTL.com. That's MLPSTL.com. Major League Pickleball, there's nothing else like it.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. Summer temps sure put our air conditioners to the test. A few years ago, before I knew about Premier Heating and Cooling, our air conditioner was on its last legs. We decided to push the envelope and try to limp through another St. Louis summer before replacing it. We went away on vacation and came back to discover our air conditioning unit had gone on the fritz while we were gone, and we ended up with all kinds of trouble, including warped wood floors. That delay in replacing our worn-out unit was an expensive mistake. If you're limping through and you know it's time for a replacement unit, our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling can take care of you and even work with you on financing. Or if you haven't taken the time to really get your air conditioner checked out and make sure it's operating at peak efficiency, which will really help on your bills and help with the life of your air conditioning unit, Premier Heating and Cooling is the place to go. Excellent rating with the Better Business Bureau. So many of their new customers are referred by happy customers like me. PremierHeatingCooling.net. 636-916-1122.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. We are insanely busy right now. It's my peak selling and buying season. I need to buy as many pristine Corvettes, Cadillacs, Vipers, Raptors, and other sports cars and luxury cars that I can find. Do you have a unique, rare, classic, or collectible vehicle you want to sell? Maybe even a daily driver with super low miles and in excellent condition. If so, we want to talk. We are cash buyers for collector-grade vehicles, including motorcycles. We've got great deals on hard-to-find, auto-check certified vehicles, too. Hop on our site today to buy, sell, or trade.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCardsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCardsInc.com.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group, and as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newsletter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk entertainment news. Superman had a pretty darn good opening weekend, $122 million opening weekend. So, betting we'll see more of those. Harper's Bazaar put together a list of the 50 hottest men of all time in Hollywood.
Oh, no, you're doing this to embarrass me, aren't you?
Well,
Okay.
yes.
Of all
right
time,
there,
though, Bob?
at the
Of all
top of the
time?
Oh, the
list.
last century.
Yes.
I want to see this list because I want to see how many are like pre-90s and how many are like, the Brad Pitts and the
Yeah.
George Clooney's.
Well, I just wrote down the top 5.
Okay.
Because I thought it was an interesting list. At number 5, Bad Bunny.
What?
And they basically said it's the Calvin Klein ad.
I think it's Saturday Night Live. I think the dude is really good.
He is fantastic.
Of all time, number 5?
Yes.
What are we
Pedro Pascal.
Are we basing this on looks alone or personality?
We can't get clicks if you
It's
put Cary
level
Grant in
of
there.
hotness.
Right. Nobody's searching Cary Grant.
Right.
Yeah. Number 3, Lenny Kravitz. I mean,
Oh.
He's a hot dude.
seems like
Yeah.
Tupac. I guess from his rapping shirtless
These
and
are
the
all
Hit 'Em Up.
recent.
And then number 1, James Dean. Smoking a cigarette in that iconic red jacket in Rebel Without a Cause. They say it
Really?
the top.
This whole thing is bogus.
Wait,
he's
hang on.
one of the most overrated actors of all time.
Well, he was in what? 2 things? All right. Now I'm realizing they said hottest and not handsomest.
which is different.
Which is
Is it?
different.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking
Really?
the sexy list.
Sexy. Lenny Kravitz is
Oh,
oozes.
should be number 1.
I would agree.
I wonder what James Dean was like. Was he? Henry Winkler. He's the. I always bring this up. The Fonz. Hey, he's the nicest, nerdiest guy in real life. Was James Dean? Smoldering. If you knew him,
I don't know.
I don't know.
or
Most of those Stanislavski actors seem kind of weird.
Yes.
Him
And it's more about the art than it is about.
Pretty serious.
But that's kind of hot though, right?
Is it?
I don't
Right?
know.
No.
Adam Levine, not necessarily on this list, but he says he's done getting tattoos because
There's no more skin left.
he's redone sleeves. He says he can't stand the pain anymore. He's gotten soft, which I think is so interesting. How about this? Stars, they're just like us. Here are some moments where a star got starstruck. Vanna White recalled a few of the names who have walked across the Wheel of Fortune set who have left her a little starstruck. Among them, Stevie Wonder, Mickey Mantle, and Mr. Rogers, whom she called the
That's
sweetest,
cool.
sweetest man.
I was just talking about Mr. Rogers over the weekend.
Yeah.
He seems like to be the most genuine.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
What skeletons did he have? By all accounts, none.
I've never heard of any.
I was going to say, I don't think so. And they've done the documentaries and they've done the movies.
And they've
it,
never come up
it's
with
not.
anything.
I think at this point we probably would see that by now.
I have to accept that he was too good and true.
Yeah. At the iHeartRadio Awards red carpet in 2025, Tori Spelling shared that she doesn't get starstruck by anyone. She goes, I grew up in this business. However, seeing Billy Idol left her speechless. She ended up even asking him for a selfie, which is something she said she never does because she was just so in awe, which I think
That
that's
is
kind of
funny.
Yeah.
Billy Idol.
During an appearance on The Tonight Show in December, Scarlett Johansson told Jimmy Fallon that she had met Judge Judy in a restaurant and was so starstruck. She said,
Judy?
I couldn't believe it. I was a little nervous. She's an icon, obviously. And she said she was so nervous. She went over the table. She was afraid that Judge Judy was going to tell her to get away.
Yeah.
She said she wasn't. She was wonderful. And Scarlett Johansson said she was so relieved that she was a very nice person. She goes, I grew up with Judge Judy.
That's great.
Which I think is
Yeah.
entertaining.
I'd be afraid that she was going to yell at me.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Gonna get the bailiff.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Stevie Nicks is an icon, but even she wasn't immune to David Beckham's famous good looks. He just oozed handsomeness, gorgeousness is what she said. She said, I just stood there like, is this real? Maybe it's a dream. She said he was super nice, really sweet. And for the record, he seemed to be just as starstruck and posted a photo of the two together on Instagram. What a night in San Fran. Seeing Fleetwood Mac loves Stevie Nicks.
David Beckham, number 43 on the hottest of all time.
I would have put him higher.
Surprisingly high-pitched voice.
Mm-hmm.
David Beckham.
He's been, kicked too many times. She may have worked alongside a star-studded group of women in Ocean's 8. Sarah Paulson said that only one of them had her geeking out like no other, Rihanna. And she said she should have worn a diaper because when she met her, she might have lost her control for a second. Just a little bit, though. Kelly Clarkson, do you remember this? She was wrapping up an interview with Ryan Seacrest at the 2018 Golden Globe Awards, which was her first time at the show, and she spotted Meryl Streep. And she was kind of getting help down the stairs, and she said, "Oh, my God." And then Ryan Seacrest kind of stopped her and, made a quick introduction and said, "Can I meet you? I've adored you since I was like 8." And then they embraced and kissed. And, yeah, I think Kelly was just as shocked that Meryl Streep knew who she was.
That's pretty cool.
So,
did you see that story that people are saying Ryan Seacrest is too skinny?
yes, he does look pretty thin.
Yeah.
But they're all so skinny because TV does add 10 or 15 pounds. So Dwayne Wade, I thought this one was maybe the most interesting, got starstruck by seeing Bellamy Young at an event. In case you don't know, she played Millie Grant on Scandal. And he said, across the room, I saw a character I loved from Scandal, Millie Grant, a.k.a. Bellamy Young, and I yelled, "Millie!" He recalled, "I just screamed it. That's the character's name, not even her real name."
Right.
He said, "I didn't even know that was in me." She turned around, looked and waved and came over. We started chatting it up, and my wife, Gabrielle Union.
I was going to say, isn't Dwayne Wade married to a star?
Was like, "Aren't you ready to go?" And he's like, No, I'm going to stay here and talk to...
I'll get an Uber.
And then one more. Adele is such a fan of Jennifer Aniston that she was so overwhelmed about meeting her in a bathroom, she accidentally called her Rachel, which... Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
Yeah.
We've been really lucky in our business lives to meet a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
You probably more than the two of us. Would you still get starstruck?
There were a couple. I mean, Jennifer Lopez, absolutely.
Yeah.
Heidi's got a picture of her and Jennifer Lopez holding hands.
Oh, nice.
Shaking hands.
Off the top of my head, there's probably many more, but I'm trying to think as you were going through the list. Maybe the one that would be tough for me be Paul McCartney.
Oh,
I think I'd almost be like Chris Farley when he interviewed him on Saturday Night Live.
Remember the White Album?
That was awesome. I think I might be that way.
Yeah, I get it. There've been definitely a couple where I was just pull it together, Heidi, pull it together.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, Dolly Parton would probably be one of those.
Oh, my gosh.
Obviously, still mourning the death of her late husband, Carl Dean. And she said being with someone for 60 years is so incredible. I can't imagine, still living without him. She's still just as busy, but she said she's having a hard time writing new songs.
Oh.
And so she said, I have so much going on that I can't afford the luxury of getting that emotional right now.
Yeah,
I thought that
see
was...
that.
Interesting. She said there's several songs that she wants to start, but she just can't right now. How about a couple birthdays?
Yeah, how about this one? Let's go back to country music.
All right.
He won a Grammy for his song In Color, Jamie Johnson. It's kind of out of that Chris Stapleton sound, Whiskey Myers, that group.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'd say he's 43.
45.
He's 50.
He is.
He's 50.
Okay.
The greatest, at least fictional, Little League player of all time, Kelly Leak in Bad News Bears, Jackie Earl Haley.
Oh my goodness. He was a stonecutter, right? What was it? Breaking Away.
Breaking Away, good movie.
He was in Watchmen.
Yep.
63?
I was going to say 68.
64, you got that one. One of my favorites, I think you've told me before that you love her too. I think she's great. Part of the Chris Guest film troupe, Jane Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say
I think she's great.
67.
What's that show she hosts?
On the game show?
The game show.
She's done a couple game shows.
She has done a couple
I
game
really
shows.
like that game show.
And she was great in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes.
Oh my
she
gosh, she
was.
was so funny.
Yes.
Okay, how old?
66.
I said 60. Ooh, I'm saying 65.
Bang, got it.
Yes.
Oh, good change at the last minute. And this one for old football fans, you may remember that he was the one that tackled Sirhan. Rosie Greer.
Oh my gosh. Is that true?
Yeah, oh yeah. Rosie, get the gun. If you listen to the audio, somebody saying, Rosie, get the gun. Break his thumb if you have to.
Was he a Ram?
Yeah, L.A. Ram.
I don't know because I don't know the story, but
Chris Darden said that O.J. Simpson confessed to
Rosie Greer.
Really?
Wow, I don't have a guess.
Okay,
75.
93.
93.
Well, he had to be
I
around
guess
in
so.
68.
You're right.
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
thinking more OJ's
Yeah.
age, but
Sirhan is still alive.
Wow.
And wanting to get out of prison.
Don't they all?
Yeah, I was gonna
think
say.
they just denied his parole again.
Again, yeah. Let's talk about something that is much more kind of an institution here in St. Louis, but one that has left a mark on so many families. And I'm talking about SSM Health, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. And I just in the mail today got a run for a future they deserve. It's the Sun Run 5K and 1 mile walk that is going to take place in Forest Park October 12th this year. And it all benefits Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It's such a fun day with, Fred Bird and Louie, and there's food trucks, and there's, stilt walkers. And then, of course, all of these teams have been put together, and you see kind of the red shirts, and that's Cardinal Glennon, former patient or patient. So that's coming up October 12th. Of course, you don't have to wait that long to really make a difference. The Glennon Children's Foundation, it was created to make such an impact and to help purchase state-of-the-art equipment, assist the hospital with launching new programs, and, of course, make sure that every child gets the care he or she needs. You can learn more about all of that at glennon.org. 7 minutes before 6 o'clock, Captain Paul, give us one final check of traffic today.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. Westbound 64 is heavy from Hampton to Clayton Skinker, where there's a police vehicle and a stalled car on the shoulder. Southbound 270 is crowded from north of Olive to 64, and the signals are on flash at the westbound 70 exit to Kings Highway. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. If the recent storms have you saying, oh, hail, bring your car, truck, SUV, or van to Dents Express for a free hail damage repair evaluation. Dents Express will have your ride looking like new again, and they'll even take care of the insurance paperwork. That's Dents Express at dentsexpressstl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk about legacy. Yuengling, 196 years of brewing. Family owned for 6 generations. That's elite. That's first ballot Hall of Fame status. But even the legends evolve. So meet the next generation of light beer. Flight, just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. This isn't some watered no flavor regret in a can beer. Flight is crisp, clean, and actually tastes like beer. It's time to level up, St. Louis. Flight from Yuengling. TG Yuengling & Sons, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes, vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw-Millhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
The Stages St. Louis season continues. Austin Pride, a new take on Jane Austen's classic Pride and Prejudice. Single tickets on sale now. Visit stagesstlewis.org. In downtown Kirkwood, stagesstlewis.org.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's wrap this show up with a couple randoms.
The baby Pebbles in the Flintstones was originally going to be a boy until a toy company told the creators of the show that baby girl dolls
Sell
sold
better.
Makes sense.
And then you had Bam Bam.
Bam
Bam. Uh-huh.
If you drop silly putty from a high place, it doesn't bounce, it shatters.
Shatters? I was going to say flattened.
No, well,
it shatters.
If you roll it up in a big ball and
Yeah.
drop it from high enough, and there's a video on YouTube showing exactly what happens.
That's interesting.
Pretty wild.
All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us on this Monday afternoon. I hope you have a great evening, and I hope you meet us right back here tomorrow starting at 3 o'clock. Until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Whatever gets you through the night. It's all right. It's all right.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate